Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to Matchday Live. Today's big one is at Largs Reserve, the nest of the Port District Magpies, as they contend for the 2020 finals berth against the Brighton Bombers. Our live stream is brought to you by Filming Footy, Dartfish, and Sports Interactive. Now, with the magnificent weather, please welcome your Filming Footy commentary team, Phil Herden, Sean Jackson, and Tony, the coach's coach, Neil.
Well, good day, footy fans. Welcome to Largs Reserve. A glorious day just for living, let alone for a big footy game, which we have here this afternoon from the Largs Reserve. It is Port Districts in fourth place, needing a win to secure a finals berth up against the league-leading Brighton Bombers, who are searching to get that minor premiership and have not yet locked in a final spot as well. My name's Phil Herden. This is a Sports Interactive and Filming Footy production brought to you by catch.com.au, screaming good deals. Joining me to my far left, the coach's coach, Tony Neal. Good afternoon, Tony.
Oh, good afternoon, gentlemen, and what a difference a week makes in football. Let me tell you, last week we were down at Caterer Oval. You've got those pictures, have you, sir? So if we have a look at last week, we can see the Ducks on the left, and I just drove past yesterday and had a look at it, and have a look at the difference that they've made within 1 week. So the ground's all dried out, there's grass, lush grass everywhere, and there's only one or two dark spots on the ground, but they're certainly firm. So that brings us to today's game, of course, and if we look at our game out here, myself and Ben went out at three-quarter time of the B grade and had a feel of the cricket pitch. They're ready to play cricket. That's how hard that is. That is a very firm surface out there, because on the peninsula here we've got the coast probably 500 metres behind us, and the Port River probably 500 metres the other way, and it's a very sandy deck. And it looks absolutely delightful for a great day of football.
Absolutely. And look, the people are out and about. Quite a traffic jam at Semaphore getting here today. Everyone heading down to the beach. Earlier today, C grade, Port District won by 84 points. We're into the final quarter of the Bs, and Port District ahead by 10 goals. Can they make it a triple? Joining us, the middleman, four-time premiership coach. He's bought the shades. He's bought the shorts. He's primed for some summer action. Jacko, welcome, mate.
Thank you, Phil. Good to be here. Yes, well, 24 degrees. I mean, if you can't put the gold promotes on and wear the sunglasses at 24, Phil, when can you? You know, what stage do you roll out the shorts and get rid of the long uns? I think it's a beautiful day. It is windy, and I guess our Intrepid will touch on that later on, but it is quite blowy down here, as it can be quite often down the seaside for those who don't venture down this part of town, God's country. But slight change to the rules today too, to accommodate the warm weather. Not sure if you guys are aware of that, but the coaches, I spoke to the coaches, and I think they were going to have a chat today actually to decide whether they would allow the 2-minute break. But just on that, interesting perspective that Simon Madden thought maybe that might be an advantage they have over Brighton. They think they might be fitter, so not letting them have a water break might suit Port Districts.
So basically the league said you can have the heat policy rules if both sides agree to it.
Correct.
Districts have not agreed. Situation normal.
No, sorry, I'm not saying he hasn't agreed. He said he was going to talk to Brighton hierarchy today before they made their decision, but it was something he was pondering, and it's a tactical consideration, isn't it?
It's an interesting one. What was the timing? What time in the quarter do they have the 2-minute break?
I think it's the 15-minute mark for 2 minutes.
I thought it was, yeah.
So I guess we'll find out if they manage to reach detente, an agreement at the 15-minute mark, if there's a break in the action.
Yep, well, we look forward to that one. We're certainly looking forward to this game, because this This is almost crunch time for Port Districts, and speaking to Simon Madden, he thinks they need to win both games. I'm not sure about that. They certainly need to win one of their last 2 games. So you'd be wanting to win, and we'll touch on, I guess, each of the respective sides shortly. But this promises to be a cracking game. Both sides got a lot riding on it.
Well, he's got rid of the jacket. He's brought the sunscreen and the floppy hat. I'm sure he's got somewhere. Boundary rider, out getting a bit of a tan. Ben Tippett, how are you, Ben?
I'm fantastic, thanks, Phil. Just trying not to get blown away down here, but it's a fantastic day for footy, as the boys said, and really looking forward to it.
Fast deck, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. I'd definitely win the toss and bat first, I reckon, out there. It's that hard. But definitely a good day for football and cricket.
All right, mate, we'll get the Elders weather at ground report shortly, but let's get into the teams in a little bit of depth. Port Districts, we were here for their last game. It was 2 weeks ago against Rocks. We said it was must win, and they didn't win it. In a close encounter, that score probably didn't, well, it belies how close that game was. Rocks kicked a couple of late ones. They have a tough run home, Brighton today, and then a trip to Prince Alfred next week. Tony, how do you see Port Districts? Can they, 1, win, and 2, secure a finals berth?
Well, it's an interesting one, but I'll probably throw to Sean because he's going to cover Port Districts, and I reckon I'll cover
that
Brighton.
again?
So I could probably do both, but I'll let you have a
Yeah, no,
word
you
there,
probably
Sean.
could. Whether you could do them well would be the question.
Can't.
Anyway, Port Districts. We were here for their last game, boys, 2 weeks ago. So they had a bye last week and didn't play this week, but significantly strengthened from where they were 2 weeks ago, and predominantly around the ball. We thought that they would have a challenge that day against Ross Trevor in terms of they're coming up against the side that has the ball bats deeper than anyone else in the midfield, and that's basically what happened. They got exposed. But today, 3 blokes back, all with SANFL experience, and I speak of Davidson, the captain, Cooper Gaffney, he's played 3 or 4 games of league football, and Matty Appleton, who I think initially they thought was going to be gone for the year with a knee injury, but they've actually held him back the last couple of weeks. He could have played the week before the bye, and they held him back. He's back into the side. He will make a big difference to them on the inside, as will Sean Davidson. So much better side around the ball. In fact, in terms of their whole list, they haven't got too many players out at all. Fraser Thorne, the number 1 ruckman's not playing today, but he can be covered pretty well by Matthew Wiestra, who does a good job there. I think that they don't lose a lot there. What they've been able to do from a structural perspective in comparison to the last time we played him is Tom Corcoran, who's been playing a little bit in the midfield, has gone back to centre-half back. Luke McInerney, I imagine, will play alongside him, and I know other clubs are starting to put some work into Luke McInerney now because he's so important for Port Districts in the back half. We saw Dougie Gregg have a breakout game 2 weeks ago off the half-back flank. So it's mainly in their back half, it's mainly around the ball that they've strengthened. No excuses really for Port Districts if they can't get the win here today at home. I did speak to the coach about the fact that we saw them play early in the year against Goodwood Saints and they won by 10 goals, and then we saw them lose 2 weeks ago, and it was almost like a different style of game they played. And he said, look, the way they played against Goodwood Saints is the way they want to play. They want to be able to take the game on, come inside with a short 45, etc. He thought last time they banged the ball too long, so I don't know if we've got the keys for the game, have we now, or are we going to touch on that after? Yep, all right, we'll have a look at the keys to the game. So this is just not my analysis. This is after talking to Simon Madden. You know, first of all, can they find and hit the lead-up kick into the forward line? So 2 weeks ago, if you remember, they caught bombing the ball too long. Their centre-half forwards out under suspension. That's left a big hole in their forward line. Nick Hales will compete, but he wants them to try and lower their eyes and hit the player on the lead. So James Batty's role is not to stand under the tall ball, it's to hit up. Secondly, can they compete better in the air in their forward line? So that's the role of Nick Hales. He did tell me that Mitch Carter, he had a chat to him last time. If you remember, Ross Trevor took 7 marks in the first quarter in the D50 for Port District, or Port District's forward 50. They put it on Mitch Carter at the quarter time to compete better in the air, and he did after that. So we'd look forward to seeing, right off the bat whether he can do that. And finally, can the return of Cooper Gaffney, Sean Davidson and Matt Appleton help them in the midfield battle?
Thanks for that, Jacko. We have just seen the conclusion of the B grade game. Port District's victorious by 59 points, 16-8-104. The Bombers 6-9-45, mentioning that the C grade for Districts got up by 84 points earlier today. This, of course, coverage is brought to you by catch.com.au. Screaming good deals. You look watching our pre-game show thanks to Dartfish and Lens Surgery. Of course, Lens Surgery for all your team photo needs. Go to lenssurgery.com. Still working out when we're going to have our broadcast team photo. Brighton have hit the deck. Time to have a look at how the Bombers are travelling, and look, they're on top of the table. 6 wins, 1 loss with 2 games to go. Last couple of games, though, maybe have hit a little bit of a roadblock. We were there at Brighton Road and saw Goodwood touch them up by 41 points for the first loss. And then Adelaide Uni 2 weeks ago, they got out of jail big time with a 1-point result. They're at 6-1. We'll go through a scenario maybe a little bit later. They've all but locked in a finals berth, but they would not want to incur 2 large losses in the road home. Might make them slightly vulnerable. Tony, I can introduce you this time. Tell us a little bit about how you see the Bombers this afternoon.
Yeah, so just before I go on to Brighton themselves, the matchups today will be great. Sean and I will allude to those as the teams do their break just before the first bounce, because it is absolutely filtered with great matchups all over the ground as well as the midfield. Brighton, of course, have the big bodies, so we'll be looking at your Harrison Boyle up forward, Tarkin Brown and Jared Miller as well. So Jared Miller, I thought, was a very much an outside player, but he also leads up to the ball. So I've been mistaken in that assumption of him. He does a bit of everything. He's got a good high work rate and ends up with a couple of goals each game. Tarkin Brown is a great lead up forward as well, and Harrison Boyle through the midfield. And we'll look at our players to watch in a moment and our keys to the game. So I think the keys to the game, first of all, is the work rate. And I think today, for Brighton, they have to decide, do they stick to their own game plan and be strong and stoic in the way that they go with that, or do they try and stifle Ports? But to try and do both is going to be very hard. So which way will you go? I would suggest decide to stick to your own game plan first. The second one is the ball use of skills. So if you are going to be playing this type of game, knowing when to tempo and keep the ball off, and precise decision making with ball use. It's common sense. It's Division 1's senior men's football, so strong minds are required, and starve the opposition of the ball and their running game, because I know Port Districts do come inside, as Sean alluded to, the 45-degree kicks. They run in the middle when they're allowed to. Win the clearances. So it's interesting that Port District's big ruckman's out today, so that might just equal things up in the middle of the ground. Strong bodies, maintain possession, and keepings off are going to be a big part of Brighton's game today. If we look at our players to watch, we've got the first one is Jacob Carger, number 7, a really big body through the middle there, and the second one is Jay Boyle, who likes to get the ball in the middle and runs forward. He breaks tackles, runs forward and delivers it into the forward line. It's going to be interesting today, Sean, the 2 forward lines, because one-dimensional, I guess, Port District at one point, depending on if James Batty can get a chop out, and then who's up forward for Brighton? Well, we're alluded to Tarkin Brown and Jared Miller, so definitely, gentlemen, looking for a great shootout today, and cannot wait to see these matchups before the first bounce.
Yeah, just on that, I did forget to mention a couple of things regarding Sam Venning, first of all, who's been a good player for Brighton.
42.
He's done his shoulder. He's out for the year. Bryce Williams, who's also had some shoulder issues, played today after missing 4 games in the Bees. Hoping to get his shoulder right, and pinged it in the first 5 minutes of the game, and he's probably done for the year as well. The good news for Brighton is Will Rivers, the captain. We thought he was gone for the year. The word is depressed fractured cheekbone. He's had it repaired, plate, and he will be back either next week or certainly in the final. So that's a really good inclusion, or that will be a good inclusion for Brighton in a couple of weeks' time.
Big game. Let's have a look at the context of it in terms of the run home. We're going to break this up into 2. Let's look at the run home for the top 3. Brighton are first at 6-1. The percentages are going to come into play somewhere in this final structure at the end of next week. As you can see, Brighton at Port Districts today host Rocks next week. But just on their heels, 1 win behind are Princes and St. Peter's, who play today. If Brighton slip up, they could slip to second spot tonight. Princes finish against Port District, St. Peter's at only Mercedes. So that's the top three. Just a win further back is your run home, and you've got Port District and the Goodwood Saints in the 5. Rocks just out on percentage, and Payneham Norwood Union are still in the hunt. They're a win behind there, but look at that percentage for the Falcons, 58.81, but they have no opportunity to lose from here. And I did do one scenario where if eight results go a particular way, we could end up with a 6-way tie with teams on 6 and 3 and everything. Minor premiership, double chance, and finals on percentage.
That's why you are the permutation king, Phil.
Oh, just wait till next week, gentlemen. I'll be in 7th heaven.
Yes.
Speaking of 7th heaven, of course, it is the weather. Let's go boundary side, Ben Tippett. Thanks to the Elders weather app, give us some glorious ground conditions.
Thanks, Phil. Just quickly, we've had the toss, Brighton have won it, and they will kick with the breeze, which is to the right of screen. We have a lovely 25 degrees down here, so a perfect day for footy, but the wind will definitely be a factor. Tony and I were out in the middle before. It's pretty much going straight down the middle of the ground. On the Elders weather app, that's 28 kilometres an hour from the north, but wind gusts up to 41 kilometres per hour. So we're saying it's going to be a 4 or 5 goal breeze today, boys, to the right of screen.
Right, so I'm suggesting that if I'm Port District, so I'm going to roll with Luke McInerney as a spare right off the bat here, boys, and run with the 5-man forward line.
The other thing, just quickly in the warm-up, I see Bradley Beswick, number 16, having a lot of shots at goals. Now, we saw him the other week against Ross Trevor, who's down at full back. Now It looks like he might be up forward. And
no, he's actually going to play second ruck today. In the absence of the ruckman, he's going to start on the pine and come on as the second ruckman.
There we go, because that swing man is very important.
And possibly, if he's having shots on goal, maybe rested up for
he may
some
play
point
some time
during the
forward,
game.
I'm sure he will.
We'll see how that pans out. Umpires today, Chris Rash and Stefan Cedarblad on the field.
Stefan who?
Stefan Cedarblad?
Cedarblad.
Cedarblad. Okay. Robert Butchard and Nathan Swincer on the boundary. Matthew Norton and Grant Potter waving the flags today. Time to go around the panel and get the tips. I might get in first. Port Districts for mine. I think they're at the strongest. We're going to see them. I'm tipping the upset at home by 12 points. Ben?
I'm going to go Brighton by 5 points, boys.
Brighton by 5. Jack, are you always worried about going last? You can go next.
Yeah, thanks. Port Districts will win this game and they'll win it by 15 points.
And Tony Neal.
Brighton by 23. And a very quick one, Sean. Now is the time to check out the boundary umpires, mate. All male. Just see the different distinctions that they might
Robert
have.
and Nathan.
And we'll be right. That's an in-house little bit of fun,
Robert
isn't
Nathan.
it?
Started. Is that game on, Phil?
There
is
we
that,
go.
Is that a declaration?
It's exciting. Here's the matchup. First matchup.
I reckon-
Declaration of war right off the
I'm trying to
bat.
help you, mate.
It was at least a shot across the bow. That was a pretty close
Now,
shot.
check out who's in the middle,
Let me
Sean.
just quickly say that was the pre-game show. Thanks to Dartfish, the team selections, thanks to Interchanger, and we thank Lens Surgery for their support of the pre-game. Get all your team photos through lenssurgery.com. The players are going to their positions. Time to check out some matchups before the first bounce. Gentlemen, what do you have?
What I have is 6 defenders starting in Port Districts and 6 forwards starting 4-1 rolling off the side of the square. But as I said 30 seconds ago, it'll be interesting to see if they roll one back given the strength of this breeze.
And we've got Boyle and Karga in the middle for they're the 2 players to watch for Brighton. And of course for Port District, we're about to go up in the ruck with Wiestra now. Comes charging in and over the top. Couldn't quite take it. Was the player for Brighton there. So they're forward.
Matty
Port
Appleton
District already.
First kick of the game.
Tate, you'll see a fair bit of out the back. Here they come, Brighton. It'll be interesting to see where they switch. That's a nice kick down the wing. Just about a grab there, and it is to Jay Boyle early on. Good strong grab. It's the next kick from here, Sean. That's important now. They've signified just a big long bomb. Tarkin Brown can't get to it. Is he going to keep it in? Just tried a little touch, and he's calling. He's the only one that kicked that, and he's calling for on the full.
Yeah, it looks like Tom Carter's got the job on Tarquin Brown. I thought it might have been Tom Corcoran to start there, but Tarquin Brown it is on Tommy Carter. Ball being thrown inside the Port District's forward line, the Brighton forward line, and you can see that already the impact of the wind. Port Districts were able to relieve the ball down the end of the ground pretty quickly once they got possession of it. The ball is now spilling towards the outside. Dougie Gregg, who played exceptionally well in the role of acting captain a couple of weeks ago, gets his hands on the ball, not able to control it, but I know they've been really impressed with Dougie's improvement this year, and he is almost the barometer of Port Districts. Ball gets thrown in. It's the same boundary umpire who's got the whip action that we saw last game, the whippet, I call him. We'll find out his name. Anyway, Port District's in the back pocket. They've got numbers there, Greg to Greg, brother to brother. You'll see and you hear a lot of that during this game because there are a lot of family connections. But Brighton get first shot on goal courtesy of Tom Wellesby. But unfortunately for them, it is just to behind, Phil.
Yep, and I think accuracy is going to be interesting today. Brighton, of course, with the wind, can they make use of it? Will it take them a little while to work out if there's any cross breeze happening? As we said, thanks to the elders where they're at. It's blowing a gale from the north, and there's a big flag on top of the Adelaide Brighton cement we can see on the outer wing, and it's going full gangbusters to that southern end that Brighton are going to. So Port District's in the black jumpers, Brighton in the clash. Speaking of clash.
Oh,
it's on. You push and shove. Here comes the Port Cavalry. And out of all of that, free kick given away, and it will be our man McInerney.
One of the great competitors of Port District, Nick Hale's involved there. He doesn't take a backward step.
So on the outer wing next to the Portaloo. Good to see we're looking after our patrons that are all around the ground. Kick comes in, finds a target in Zachy Hawkins. He'll keep it down that outside, heads it into the scoreboard pocket, puts it in front of Weistra, tries to keep it in bounds. So usually look, Davidson's there with Weistra, who kicks it I don't know, basically up in the air. That was a real elevator shaft of a kind of kick. Districts will pick it up. Now this is Matthew Appleton. He goes with the elevator shaft. At least that went a slightly forward direction. High bounce. I'm not sure if I'm actually watching Australian rules football at the moment or some version of rugby union.
Gould.
It's with Gould now. He gets the hand pass off to Jack Gaffney. Hot footy. Good tackle by Joe Boyle, and Tony the Bombers will clear momentarily.
Oh, not very far though, Phil. It's come back in. Round they go. Players, strong bodies are needed. That was a short handball. Didn't really pay to his team's advantage. Tarkin Brown, long way up the ground. He's going to bullock his way in. You've ran into a freight train there with both Brown and Jay Boyle. And let me tell you, folks at home, get up out of your rocking chair, Grandma, because today's the day. This is going to be a mini final. Sean, that's what I reckon. So Ruckman now ready. Up it goes. Just a left-handed tap. One man stayed down and rode that very well. Left-footed kick that was. Round he goes. He's dodged fresh air there. Alex Jezelenko, number 25, kicks it to the umpire, who ducks under it. Here's our little man that was after the water bottle the other week, Shane Harvey. Oh, nice kick, 3-on-1. Don't know whether they'll get through. Someone comes to help now. Very scrambly game at the moment, and that's Sam McKay, the fullback, who's just kicked that ball forward. It's a bit of a hack and fumbly bobbling around now. See if someone can hit a target. Takes a bounce. Like to see that early in the game. Nice handball. Boyle now tries to pinpoint the kick but can't quite. This is a really good matchup. I reckon McInerney's going to have more pace. He's been held on to. Umpire let that go, and Tarkin Brown just flattens someone. Gets back up. McInerney and Brown will be a belter down there, I reckon, Sean. So
I'll be surprised if they roll with that matchup for too long. It was Tommy Carter on Brown before, and it looks like Corcoran, who to me is the logical matchup. Corcoran is standing him now.
Sorry, McInerney's just gone back as the free man back there too. So away you go.
Yep, that's what they'll try and do. They'll try and get him spare because he does a very good job of that, and so does Sean Davidson, the captain. A good mark under a high ball. It's definitely the wind that's causing havoc with the kicks at this stage. So the boys have got a quick low drop, and that's a good example of it. Marked by Zach Hawkins in a different role today, coming up on the wing, kicks towards Ben Gould down the line, stays under the ball with a bit of courage and receives the free kick from the umpire. Should have got the advantage. That's poor umpiring from an experienced umpire there, but maybe he thought the players had all stopped. But Port District's inconvenienced by that umpiring decision.
I'll tell you what, Ben Gould had not stopped. He was halfway to the goal square.
Got some toe.
It was a free kick too, so you're allowed to play on.
Turns it over. That forward entry kick into the breeze is going to be really hard, difficult today. But that's a beautiful switch of play from Brighton out the far side. Finds Nigel Osborne, the experienced midfielder from West Adelaide. He's looking for options. He's also going to take the long option down the line, looking for Tarkin Brown versus Corcoran. He wins that contest. They probably would have played together, or may have played together at Glenelg, those two boys, so they'd certainly know of each other. Unfortunately for Brighton, however, that is a point, and it will be kicked in by Sammy McKay from Port Districts, who is one of the best exponents of the drop punt in the Adelaide Footy League.
Just quickly there, Sean. Do you think Brighton will be doing this going long a fair bit on that far side? Make the opposition run, their midfielders?
Yeah, I guess, when they work it up so hard into the breeze, and if you turn it over, you can expose them by getting that kick over the back a bit.
So the kick comes in, finds Lockie Gregg in the clubhouse pocket. Crowd a little bit smaller than I thought today, but again, there is a bit of an AFL clash happening, which will divide the loyalties of Port Adelaide faithful. As the kick finding Daniel Casaniti. He's got himself ball up.
Unlucky not to
Centre
get it
wing, clubhouse side, seaside here at Largs.
Oh, it's a good tackle from the little fella. Daniel Passaniti, the old neighbour. Rolled his weight
Return the
around.
favour.
What do you reckon? There's about 30 kilos difference between him and
wrapped
Karga there.
him up beautifully. Umpire elects to throw it up. This time it is Wakefield in the ruck. Trying to tap it forward at ground level was Reacher. Picked up by Boyle of Brighton. Socket off the ground only as far as Mitch Gaffney. Not 15, and we'll have another stoppage. And, the words have started. Joe Boyle not taking a backward step, as you would expect. Wakefield, not sure if that was a tap to Boyle or not. Umpire will play it again. A further stoppage. Was that 4 in a minute? I thought it was going to be a fast track. Maybe it's just going to open up a little bit. Take a bit of time. Wakefield, another thump. He's getting forward to it. But can Brighton take advantage? Trying to find somewhere to go, but does get the hand pass out. Now they're in space, the Bombers. Adam Beaumont from the edge of 50. Curling back. There is your first. Or your. It's not. Had us all fooled. It is your third behind. We've gone 8 minutes. Brighton 3, Port District 0.
That was really poor defence there. Letting get ahead of the restart by 10 metres without an opponent. It's pretty poor from Port Districts.
So, clever kick. Greg, couldn't take it. He's run on for the handball now. This is going to be the difficult one down the line. Just had to keep it low, and that's smart football and well taken by Miller Carter. So, nice kick over the top. They've got a bit of the paddock going here. There's only one-on-one with Batty. Obviously a set spot they're going to kick to. Didn't quite hit that right. Batty's got to work hard, but he's clever there. He's tapped that across. Player running into goal, and he's just missed it. Was Harrison Hawkins. That was very clever by Batty then. He deliberately tapped that across, and very good play from one end to the other by Port District's possession football. Now here's the hard work. Jay Boyle's going to do the kicking. He's one of the midfielders. So obviously they're going to be looking, I would suggest, for a long kick. But he just runs and bombs it to a 50-50 pack in the middle. That doesn't help anyone. Hoping that their midfielders can get it through. Handball. Player taken from behind. They've got numbers here, Port District. They've actually set that up very well. Plays on now. Player coming through. They've kicked to the exact same spot again. Unable to take it was Davidson. Players crumbing. Quick little tap out. Gaffney, it's out to that right side. The wind's just held that ball right up there. What a great battle down there in the forward line. Can they get it out? Quick one. Gaffney can't keep his feet. Round it comes, and Harrison Hawkins has sprayed that across for one of the best points we've ever seen.
How was the work rate of Mitch Gaffney, number 14 for Port Districts?
And their numbers setting up back here.
He just pushed hard, extremely hard forward to make a contest. Anyway, it's been kicked out. It's been marked by Lockie Gregg, left footer. Goes down the line searching for, can't see, young Passaniti. He's come on and made his presence felt. Very short period of time for a little fellow. He's probably the smallest player on the ground. Anyway, we've got a boundary throw, and it's Wiestra versus Wakefield. We'll see a bit of that. That's ball's gone over the back. Cardinals sin to leave that exposed. And Jack Gaffney gets on the end of that, kicks it forward under pressure, looking for Cooper. Jack Foster, who had an exceptional game the first time we saw Port Districts play, and then was a bit poor 2 weeks ago. And needs to be a little bit more consistent in his performance. The question is, can Port Districts lock the ball in and score a goal from this forward entry? Boundary throw, and Wiestra gets it, takes it out of the ruck, wheels around, looking for Davidson on the run, and Passaniti. Neither able to get there first, although Passaniti turns it over. Beautiful ball. And then decides to go with the check side kick when he was running straight at goal. A drop punt, son, would have got the job done.
He's had a bit of it.
He has had a lot of it. Yes, Tony. Phil, what do you got for us?
Are we going to give something away besides a beanie today? I'm just thinking it may not be the best weather for it. But the kick comes in, finds Blake McDonald in front of the scoreboard for the Bombers.
Good mark.
You have to say Port District are holding their own despite going into the breeze at the moment. This scoreline would feature them. They'd be happy with 11 gone. No one's got a goal. Districts has it. Gee, there was a player there upended. The Passanidi again busy. Kick down the outer wing, seen out of bounds by Nick Hales. A throw in. Reminder that this is week 8 of 9. There's 4 other games in the ODI Division 1 today. We'll give you scores at each quarter time break, and then we'll wrap up other divisions. Plenty of big games as the minor round wraps up in some of those. It is Matthew Weistra with the kick. Only as far as Shane Harvey out of bounds again. Those other games today, Rocks host Athelston in the North East Derby. Goodwood host only Mercedes in the Southern Derby. St Peter's Prince Alfred, always a big game, the two colleges. And Adelaide Union, the Battle of Black and White, host Paynham Norwood Union.
Matty Appleton making his presence felt. 5 disposals already and 9 turnovers to each side already as well.
Yeah, I think the conditions aren't going to be that good. Look at that kick. It's just bumbled forward at forward rolling drop punt it was. Anyway, nice little grab out here, Harrison Hawkins. Can they load up again? They've been good at keeping possession here. Be interesting now. It's Brighton now. There's about 8 players have just converged across this side. Still got it short there, Doug Gregg. And you tack into the wind. So Davidson goes short again. He's there if he wants him. Now looks sideways. Yeah, it's going to be on. So out they'll come McInerney. So you might see a release kick. Tries to get around, does it too easy on the left hand now with a handball out to the pocket.
McKay.
Not really the attacking side here. McKay was it. So he's got a nice kick, but geez, that last part of it holds up. Good grab. You're going to see a lot of the Gaffneys today. Now they're over. Brighton have still set up. They've got 2 players free. Geez, took a long time to pick that up. I think Brookman it was. And the ball just bounced to ground. So he's come off the bench, Ben Brookman. I reckon he might be the next ruckman for them. They're very light on in the ruck with Wakefield and Brookman in regards to the body. But if you can stand back and take a jump, well, he doesn't. So out it comes now. Brighton now. Nice long kick. Just over centre forward area now. They can't clunk it in with one hand. McInerney again, you're going to see him. He's like the quarterback. It's that kick that's dropping, that last 20 metres, it just hangs in the air, and away they go now through Harvey. Misses the target. That's going to be costly in it. Just about out of bounds there. Right in front of the children's playground, and that player almost ended up
Jared
on
Miller.
the monkey bars.
Well,
Yep.
already we can see Luke McInerney is rolling into that spare position, and Brighton are rolling with a spare at the other end. I think if I was in Brighton's shoes, I'd be pushing someone forward to make Luke McInerney accountable, but they're not. Sam McKay gets it, handballs it to Hales. Hales gets it back to McKay. Unfortunately, that's pushed out the boundary line, but Nick Hales is doing a power of work for Port District as well. He's at centre forward now. He's finding himself on the full back line. Seems to be running wherever Jed Farquhar runs. Anyway, that ball directed towards the top of the square. That man I'm talking about, Farquhar versus Hales, but it's McInerney again who gets the ball, kicks towards Gould, pushes down the line. Lovely left foot. He's on the right wing. We should have done better with that kick. Intercepted by Brighton. It's now in the hands of Osborne. He directs it towards a true centre-half forward position. Hales should have taken that foot. He didn't. It's taken, however, by Jared Miller, who kicks the ball along and ends up kicking a barrel that ends up out of bounds on the fall. And I've got Jared's parents in front of me not too far, so I better be careful what I say.
How good was that charge through the middle too, Jack Chalmers there, when he took that ball on for Brighton to get it forward for them.
Well, Port District's movement out of the back half has been exceptional considering the breeze. There's no doubt about that. If they could lock the ball on the other end, they'd be really happy with this start at the moment, as the scoreboard shows 2 points to Port Districts and 3 points to Brighton, and that's a good mark by Matty Weistra. Goes into the middle. Dangerous kick for a big bloke. He's got to know the strength. Foster, who's got it, well wrapped up on this occasion by Jack Chalmers. The umpire says, nothing doing. I'll bounce this ball.
So the best I can make out, Chalmers is the loose bomber player.
Right, okay. Weistra takes out the rucks. Done that a bit already. Handballs forward to Gould. Back to, now it ends up with one of the Gaffneys. Number 7, Gould takes it. They're running into each other. There's a few players sore already. The umpire says, give it to me.
You'd be glad we're not doing a highlights pack of the first quarter, because there hasn't been a lot.
Keep an eye on Gould as well, because he's one of those players who'll get a touch here and then you'll see him down the ground at the next pack.
Yep.
Look, he's free out here. They can't get to him. Wellesby.
So Wellesby has it, kicked up in the air. No, didn't go 15. District's trying to work it around the back. In the end, coming in hard was Tarquin Brown to lay the tackle. Turnover time. He ends up with Harry Boyle. He kicks towards the arc of 50. Going up, couldn't take it, was Tommy Corcoran. Bombers are better at ground level. Here's Blake McDonald looking for the lead of Farquhar. Missed him. Bouncing out of bounds. By the playground pocket.
Just
Throw
a
in.
slight structural change there. Looks like Corcoran is now rolling as the spare, while Luke McInerney has a spell on the interchange.
Let's go Andrew's side to Ben.
Just some quick interchange stats. Thanks to Interchanger boys. We've got 8-6 in favour of Port Districts at the moment. Pretty warm out there, so plenty of rotations today.
Well, we've gone 16:45. There's been no stoppage at 15. The taunt was not reached between the coaches on the heat policy. As Brighton have missed one again.
Tactical advantage by Simon Madden,
So,
you think, Phil?
Well, if he believes they're fit up, he's backing his blokes.
Yep.
And I guess coaches, you'd like coaches who do that, Tony.
Yes, but probably not one of the tactics I do, but that's up to themselves. What I'm looking at here, though, Brighton are still coming across and standing in space, and I'm amazed that we're, 17 minutes in, and they're still able to... Look how easily they're able to get the ball down the ground here, Port Districts, into this win. Now, that's a really nice penetrating kick. Player running onto that. Smart play. Couldn't quite take it. Now they'll set up again here. So Brighton, very rarely do you see them switch, although on a day like today, they may go out the other side. Gaffney it is with that beautiful foot, and of course now he lets us down. And geez, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That was nearly Gaffney to Gaffney to Gaffney, you know, that play.
And he gaffed it. Anyway, McDonald it is. We've seen him get a fair bit of it. Out wide, almost too good a kick. It's gone just defended there from Jared Miller. Now, number 18, Jared Miller, is one of the players also you'll see comes for long leads up the ground. Can't believe we're 18 minutes in. We haven't seen a goal scored, and Port Districts would be very happy at the moment with the way things are going. A lot of yellow around this ball. Up it goes. Westra just nudges the player out. Yellow get the ball, of course, so way they come now on the left foot. That's a nice, neat kick, but straight to the opposition. That was Jackson Riddle. We haven't called him much yet, and big, tall fella is already down there. Mitch Wakefield sets himself up for the ruck. Westra's
someone's looking out. He's going to go and get the ball. It's gone down the street.
He's a big body, Westra, so if he's expected to play ruck for the whole quarter, I don't know whether he's going to have enough petrol tickets to get through the whole game doing that.
No, he's got Beswick to give him a hit out, so they've already got that in place.
Yeah, a bit of a poor throw, dropped a bit short. Strong tackle right on the 50-metre line. If they can load up from here, let's just see what happens with this ball up. Umpire comes in. There's 3 or 4 players to the right of the play here as well, so if a kick comes in, they're covered. Players get down to it, just pushes off. And that barely, I reckon that went 15.1 metres. So this player, I reckon, is that Harrison Boyle?
Nigel Osborne.
Nigel Osborne, is it? Now he's going to be having a shot from on 50, which is probably 40 on any other day with the wind behind him. But it's still a difficult kick. You've got to really get it a little bit right to left, which he runs there, kicks it nice and long, and that is... the first goal for Brighton Bombers. They are underway. So nice goal there, Sean, from 50 metres.
Yeah, look, let's just have a look at his kicking style. Beautiful. Doesn't have a long ball drop as a consequence. No issue with the kick. It's gone straight through the middle, and that's a much needed goal. And I've got to say, boys, 20 minutes in, I am really surprised that Port Districts have been allowed to roll with an extra spare and not being made accountable at all. I reckon I'd say 15 minutes and have a look at it and go, well, it's not working for us. They're taking it out of their back half too easily. Let's make that bloke accountable. They keep chopping and changing it, who the spare is. Nick Hales has now gone back. Dougie Gregg's still down there. Luke McInerney's on the pine. So they are rotating the bloke in the role, but it's not an issue. Anyway, Appleton it is. Liked his game early after a long spell. Kicks it forward, spoiled by Brighton. Carger it is, thrown himself at the contest, but well done by Appleton. He's no stranger to hitting strong through the contest. Westra gets it. Cooper Gaffney, handballs towards Nick Hales, puts him under the pump. It's kicked quickly by Brighton, but unfortunately there's the spare. Sammy McKay, he gets it. Chips nicely. Dougie Gregg got it now, looking for something upfield. This is going to be the danger kick, although they've done it pretty well so far this quarter. And as I say, he kicks that straight into the man on the mark. He was looking for Ben Gould, who's changed wings. And what I do like, both sides are actually rotating their players, and it's hard for us as commentators to try and keep a run on exactly where they're all playing.
Who's on first? We got no idea.
Yeah, correct. Ball spills to the back, though. Ends up with Karga. He's had a shot on goal, and he's missed, and that puts Brighton on 1-5 to Port District's 2 points. Boys, it's a 4-goal breeze, at least.
Not a 4-point breeze.
Yep. So, McKay it is, kicking in. Watch the execution here, boys. Look at that drop punt into the breeze. That is a magnificent kick. It's found Tommy Corcoran on the wing. He looks in boards. This kick is going to be important. It is. It finds Gaffney, Jack Variety. He looking for another brother. Can't find one. Turns over another forward entry. Jack will be disappointed with that kick, and that's been marked by Scotty Nerlich, who's got an unusual kicking style. Well, that's effective. Finds Karga. He's done 3 360s then. I'm not sure what all that was about. Got set now, though.
Maybe he's just making sure we find the number.
Yep, he's now kicked it over towards Benny Brookman. Coming off the full back line, he's kicked it towards the wing, but nice bit of body work there by Mitch Gaffney. Just put the Brighton player out of position and allows the ball to spill out of bounds, Phil.
Right in front of the cricket nets here at Largs Reserve. 22 minutes, just the 1 goal scored. It will be fascinating to see how long this quarter goes for. Might just be 25, 26 minutes. Throw in, taken by Weestry. Gets the hand pass out to his teammate. Districts will clear down the wing. Going up high for it.
Ooh.
The tap was given by Miller. He's eventually scored out of bounds right in front of the District's change rooms in the interchange gates. Quarter time, we have to give you some scores around the OTR Division 1. And I'd also like to thank our main sponsors, catch.com.au. Screaming good deals. An arm wrestle thus far in dry but windy conditions. Spills to Osborne. He finds some space.
Good kick.
Kicks towards the 50-metre arc. There was a fly. There should be a free where that happens.
Yep.
And this will give Brighton a late chance at redemption. Jared Miller. Of all the players you want to give it to, he leads the Bombers in goal scoring
and
with
celebrations.
17. And celebrations aren't bad either. And having held them for 19 minutes and 30 seconds, well, it could be 2 goals in the space of a few minutes. Miller comes in, deliberate with the kick, watching the goal umpire.
Here's the celebration.
It's gone through. The Bombers have their second, and now we've got a score and a margin closer to our expectations. It is Brighton at 2-5-17. Port District's 2 behinds, a 15-point footy game.
And that, for anyone that wonders why you do the fast feed on the quick step ladders, if you saw Nigel Osborne step his way through that pack, then he did that brilliantly there. Get the feet moving. He looks like he had ice skates on. Moving that quick. Good on him. So they've surged ahead now. 2 goals, 5. They've had a fair bit of play down there, but I thought Port District have defended quite well. Is there still a free down there, Shaw? McInerney, I reckon. Up it comes in the middle.
Is.
Yep. Nice tap out there by Wakefield, but ball to ground. So the opposition ruckman now picks it up. Weestra. Try him with one hand. Through they come. They don't mind attacking the ball. I don't mind that from Brighton. Geez, it's sort of smothered between 2 players. There's a lot of holding on. Umpire lets it go. Geez, I tell you what, willing players is what you need there. A lot of courage, guts and determination. Umpire very flushed in the face. Look at him. He's
Can I just make a quick observation? An even game early on. Brighton have dominated the last 8 minutes, having not had the water break.
Well, there you go. Yep. So Weestra now, he'll burst his way through. Karga rides him like a bucking bronco bull.
Sorry?
A lot of bees in that, and I tell you
bronco.
what, the bucking bronco bull there, he's taken it. Big strong bodies, day like this, good on him. Big tackle now. Just that kick there, so they haven't gone long on the first one, but the second one is a little bit predictable. No one down there.
Yeah,
Plays into McInerney's hands. Over he goes. He's just in slow motion in a nice way, I say that. He's got a lot of time. Really stretches out the leg on that kick there. It's almost like a training run there. What were you going to say there, Sean? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, Port Districts, if you're going to roll one short, and I know they're more concerned about defence than they are offence at the moment, but you rely on your 5v6, you rely on those 5 blokes being competitive and on the job. And unfortunately, there's been a couple of occasions, just like then, that where their pressure in their forward half was poor, and Brighton were able to take the ball out too easily.
Well, they're loading up again now. Davidson through the middle. This is their game that they like. Weestra's caught up there. Now it's on the ground. Gives Brighton a chance. 50-50.
Ooh.
Just looked down and looked up there. And young Shane Harvey might want to have a second go at that. But it's very willing out there. When the play's over this side, you can hear the bodies hitting each other. Love a good physical game. Now, Wellesby's at the back of this pack on his own if they can get it to... players tunnelled there or jumped or fresh aired or not quite sure. He's picked up a free and just a little bit proppy. That would be interesting to see again. Mitch Wakefield, it's like he jumped nothing.
Yeah, look, to me, it looked like Weistra's free, but obviously Weistra must have tunnelled him, as you said.
Yeah, must have been something there. So he's going to load up. Now they go out the other side to the inside 50. 50-50, a lot of 50s in there, but a 50-50 contest. Now they come back. Very good at this. Port District's, that's got a hit, though. That's where you can come undone.
Like to see a big punch from Tommy Corcoran there. You're caught behind your player. He sometimes just makes a big statement to your opposition when you just bang the crap out of the ball, not try and mark it, and the ball spills over the back. That's not your go as a defender. The ball must come forward. Thrown in. Taken out of the ruck this time by Brighton's big unit, and that's Hayden Kananas. Yep, Kanauskas.
The beast is on. No,
yes.
It's not. No, it wasn't him. It was
Kanauskas.
Farquhar, it was.
Farquhar, was it? Similar in build. Anyway, it's Port Districts who have got the free kick. I think it's going the way of Gould out the far wing, left footer. We'll see if the way he kicks this will give me an indication. It looks like he's shaping up on the right this time. Heads towards the half-forward line, looking for Matty Weistra. That's a beautiful punch over the top by Jay Boyle, was it, boys? Or
I reckon it was the ruckman, wasn't it? Wakefield.
The full back. Anyway, ball has spilled out of bounds, and it's Wakefield versus Weistra, as it has been for most of the quarter. And you're right, Tony, there has been no change to that from Port Districts or for Brighton for that matter. It's got a little bit willing inside there. We'll talk about the battle of the midfields, but both sides have got fantastic midfielders. I'm really impressed with Matty Appleton's game for Port District so far. Anyway, the ball spills, ends up with Harvey. This is his go. Quick on the outside. Not great off the boot, but it may end up okay. It doesn't. It spills forward. Brighton looking to get onto it. Nice bit of defensive work by Luke McInerney. And I tell you what, if the SNFL clubs are looking for a ready-made defender, he's miles in front of some of the blokes playing in the SNFL. And if they haven't spoken to him, then they're not doing what they should be doing, which is their due diligence.
Well, I 100% agree there, Sean. I was just looking at that contest then.
Yep.
Fantastic. Good on him.
Ends up with Appleton, who's had a power of work in the first quarter. Weistra looks like he's gone forward now, Tony. So we've got a change in the ruck. He's actually coming to the pine. And would imagine that Beswick would be in the ruck. Can't see.
Yep,
McInerney
just coming on.
Yep. Right on quarter time. I don't know what. I guess you don't know when the quarter time is, but they've done a power of work, both of the ruckmen. And this is an intriguing battle, boys, because up till about 5 or 6 minutes ago, as the Chief of the Fire Service gives me the thumbs up, Michael Morgan, coming to see a lot of these employees playing. Brighton got about 4 or 5 playing today. But up until 5 or 6 minutes ago, it was clearly Port District's quarter. And just the last 5 or 6 minutes, the ability of Port Districts to score a couple of goals, end up with 2 goals, 5. If you're looking for a winner of the quarter, I'd say we said 3 or 4 goal breeze, and they're only 15 points in front. So for me, Port Districts a winner of the quarter. Just quickly, a couple of stats. Port District's 18 turnovers to Brighton 15, and inside 50s. Yeah, 15 to Brighton, and I don't have it for Port Districts.
I was about to say Brighton, I think, had a lot of the last inside 50s. I can't remember, might have been the 19-20 minute mark that Port Districts had the last inside 50. We did need to take a break for quarter time. The goal scorers, Osborne and Miller for the Bombers. No one yet for Districts. 15-point footy game. We'll be back after the break. This is a Sports Interactive and Filming Footy production.
At Carlton Football Club, we use Interchange Pro software to manage our rotations on game day with our men's team, women's team and VFL affiliate Northern Blues. The software is simple and user-friendly and gives us a great idea of how to manage our players' rotations during a match. Interchange Pro provides concise information about players' time on ground and time on the bench. We can also see how long players have been on the ground and configure accurate alerts for individual players to manage their rotations and game time. Using the software, we can keep track of how many minutes our players have played on the ground and spent on the bench for the whole entire season, creating a database. We find Interchange Pro a great solution to managing our players' rotations on game day, and it'll be a great tool at community level too.
Hey Jeff, where do you get your shoes?
Catch! Catch! Catch!
catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
Welcome back, everyone. It is quarter time. The visitors with the breeze, 2-5-17. Port District just the two behinds. Here are some quarter time stats. Jacko.
Yeah, no surprise really at the inside 50s given the conditions here. Very windy. Brighton had use of the wind, 15-7. Turnovers, we're going to see a game of high turnovers given the conditions as well, 18-15 in favour of Port District's. Hit-outs, very even, 12-13. Tackles, 18-13 in favour of Brighton. And the centre clearance, the clearances around the ground, 15-12, nothing in it. We've got a fantastic battle in the midfield. Both sides, very good players, Boyle and Karga and who's the other one, number 5, Nigel Osborne for Brighton versus the Gaffneys versus Davidson. And the one that's really impressed me so far is Matthew Appleton. So the Rucks played all the quarter pretty much. So as Tony alluded to, that's going to be a challenge for them under these conditions if that continues. But cracking start of the game.
Let's go. It's Bandra's side. Thanks to Interchanger. He's been to the huddles. Ben Tippett.
Thanks, Phil. Over at Port District, Simon Madden was very happy with the start of the game. Obviously, the intensity and the work rate were first class. Over at Brighton, Joel Tucker this quarter is looking for the forwards to really press up hard. They're looking to play tempo footy. Be very, very careful of the switch and forwards to look for plenty of space.
Alrighty, not too far away. The teams are separating. No scores around the other games as yet provided. I think we had probably a shorter quarter, an earlier start. Want to send a cheerio to Kim Steer watching us on the YouTube, backing the Bombers.
He's about 2 metres in front of us there, Phil.
Fantastic. He's definitely watching us live. And gentlemen, what changes do you think we'll see in the second quarter with the free players?
Well, already what we can see, if you look at the two respective forward lines, we've got a very clogged forward line for Port Districts and a very open forward line for the Brighton Bombers. If they can keep it that way, Brighton would be very happy. I would be almost tempted to run... the opposite... Port Districts are going with the breeze and they've got a very open forward line, so they'd be very happy with that at this stage.
Luke Bonfiglio almost went after his own ball as we see Port District come forward. I think we're going to see a totally different game. Right in front of us is McInerney free again. Umpire throws up, nice high leap. Oh, he's landed right on the coccyx there and he's in a little bit of strife there, Ruckman. As they come forward, Appleton again. Bombs it in, Batty he needed sticky fingers. Ball still up in the air, Wellesby taps it forward, backwards now. Out it comes now. I like this bloke early in the first quarter too, was Chalmers. Kicks out wide now. This is what we might see from Port District. Can they set up using the wind a lot quicker than Brighton did? Brighton will fumble there. That's going to be costly to Chalmers. Still gets it out. Well done. Just a 1 foot step and kick high in the air. I keep saying it every time, folks. You see these kicks come out, the first half will penetrate and the second half it will just drop down. Coming back the other way though, this will go long over the back. Brighton have got 3 or 4 there. Tate it is first. The ball gets bumped out of that, and that's well played there. He's been lively as well.
Gaffney,
Cooper Gaffney. Now they come out wide. Just a fumble from Passanidi. Now he gets himself right, kicks it. It's
Oh,
come
he's
back
goaled it.
around, and that has gone through. That is a great goal. That curled as it left his boot. Looked like a point, and then back there. So hard fought. We are, 1.5 minutes in as we see this kick. Here it comes. There's the wind for you. Curls back around. So 1.5 minutes in, and Port District have kicked the first goal. Now, Brighton are really going to have to be tight down back. I'm not sure whether they're going to have the same effect as what Port District did. And if they're not careful, Port District could open up here.
Yep, well, he needed to kick that one past Needy because he had a player short and he just fumbled it, but was composed enough to be able to come back on the inside and finish. And good battle at the moment between him and Shane Harvey. Harvey got a lot more experience. Anyway, ball goes up into the middle. Weistra gets hand on it. Gaffney runs at the ball, not able to take it. Looks like the big fella in
Is it Karga, is it? I'm not
Osborne
sure.
on the bottom of the pack gives the ball back to the umpire.
Good game so far, isn't he?
Yep. No, it's a fantastic battle in the midfield. Some real good experienced players, but Wakefield it is who gets his hand on that. Now goes in the hands of Port
Space.
Districts. Had to beeline the ball. Does. Nice handball. Ends up with Appleton. Hurried the kick. Good effort by Batty. Gets up. Can he get free? He does. Gives it to Hales. He can't get the ball clear. It's going to end up in another scrimmage, although the umpire lets it go for a bit longer than you would expect. Hales brings it back. Davison brings it back in. Cooper Gaffney. This time to Hales on the left foot. Just didn't allow for the breeze long enough. I think some of the players actually thought it was a goal. He had to go to the left post, the left foot, and bend it back. He didn't. And that's a point, but that puts Port District's 1 goal 3 tailing Brighton 2 goals 5.
So, Districts are on with the breeze. They're narrowing this margin as the kick out towards the Districts club will go out of bounds. Will be a throw in. Some big games around the Odo Division 1, of course, just the last mile around next week. Tony, you're pointing?
I was showing Sean, Corcoran looks free there. They're trying to get the free. Corcoran now has been taken, so it leaves another free. But the two big ones they don't want free is Corcoran and the other fella here, McInerney.
So from the throw in, picking it up is Jack Gaffney. He's set upon straight away. Taking edge of Port Districts. Held goalless in the first quarter. Strong breeze though. Blowing straight down to the southern, maybe a little bit cross from right to left. Oh, beautiful work done by the Bombers to elude. Now it's out with Harvey. They'll bring it down in front of us here, your broadcast booth, and he's put that out of bounds on the full, on the near side, into the breeze. No mean feat that, Tony.
No, he actually looked a bit worried. He was about to kick that, thinking, I'm going to have to use my left here. So they're going around the outside here, Port District. Oh, tried to call her over the mark there. Fumbles, gets it out. Brighton are onto him. Oh, just pushed out. Umpire has called something here. He's called a free. And it is a free to Brighton. Was he dropped or holding the ball? One of the two.
I know he's certainly, it's Dougie Gregg it is, who's remonstrating with the umpire. I don't think he should. He'd be pretty embarrassed about that bit of play in hindsight. He put his brother, Lockie, under all sorts of pressure with after the stumble when he took the guy on the mark. Nothing wrong with that, but he stumbled, lost his feet, didn't he?
That was the breaking point, the stumble.
Yep.
Once that happened, just while we're waiting for this kick to go, all the players are coming up now, pushing up the ground. It'll be interesting to see whether there's much of a press. Oh, a little lead put on there. You're going to...
Karga it is. He's a good kick. He won't have no problems with the distance, even into the breeze.
Oh.
He doesn't have any trouble with the distance. He does, however, have trouble with the accuracy. Too high on the ball drop for mine, that one. Anyway, Sam McKay it is who brings the ball in long to the far side. Looks like Scotty Nerlich under there for Brighton. Brighton are able to turn the ball over. Nice bit of transition. Unable to get clear, although they have now hit the top, the centre forward. Luke McInerney will end up with this as he has all game so far. But that's fantastic forward pressure again on the Port District defence, and who all they want to do is argue with the umpire. Who, let's be honest, should be wearing a hat because he's turning beetroot under the sun today.
Showing the umpire the ball is not going to save you from being called holding it.
Yes, correct. It's ended up with Shane Harvey, the wingman.
Fairly tipping to use his right foot this time too.
Last kick went out in the fall. Let's see how he goes this time. Good on the boot. I think he's done enough. Ball spears late, but it's gone through the goals, and an important goal. The first goal we've seen today into the breeze. Shane Harvey, the experienced wingman, But what it was a combination of errors from the Port District defenders. First Dougie Gregg, then Luke McInerney. It's all well and good having a spare, but you can't afford to get caught holding the ball when you're on that close to goal, boys.
We have a score from Ross Trevor. Rocks needing to win to get back into the 5. Lead Athelston at quarter time. 5-6-36 to the Raggies 1-1-7. 29-point margin in favour of Rocks.
The irony there, the two wingmen that were playing on each other have been the last two players to kick the last two goals of the game. There's been a change out here now.
Rocks will go to it. Game on.
Appleton.
Both teams have scored a goal early. And Appleton's kick only as far as Tate. He's a prime mover for the Bombers. He'll set them up towards the half-forward flank, C-side. Thumb from behind through the hands of Harvey, the goal scorer. Comes now to Tommy Corcoran. He kicks into space. Rookman leading the race. It is Nick Hales in pursuit. Although Batty arrives. A free foot inside the forward line. Does the team thing and spots up the captain. Sean Davidson at the top of the goal square. And this could be a very quick reply for Districts.
Just one thing I want to point out there. Tommy Corcoran punched the ball here, and we ended up, Port Districts ending up with a shot on goal. If you remember, I talked about him in the first quarter, almost the exact same position in reverse on the far side where he was behind and tried to mark the ball. Good education that he obviously got chatted by the coach at quarter time, and good bit of play.
So right now it's a 15-point margin. Davidson comes in. Allowed enough for the movement. Makes the goal umpire work, but that is a major. Davidson's first and District's second. They go to 2-3-15. Brighton a 3-6-24. That is a 9-point margin.
That last bit of play there by Batty, very clever. That's the chop out that he needs. He needs a hand in the forward line. He's a clever enough player. He probably could have kept going and had a shot himself. But there's other players now. They can share the load. And very smart in Port District's team goal. So, ball back in the middle. Umpire has a look around as he's getting redder and redder, Sean, as you said. About to throw it up now. A lot of one-on-one in the middle. So, both players tap pretty much together. Head over the ball. Can't pick it up. Courage needed. That cricket pitch out there is rock hard, by the way. Now it's out on the wing, a little bit softer. Yeah, leads to the ball. Good running. Harrison Hawkins is a winger on this side, it is. Davidson, who's just kicked the last goal. I don't know whether that was him or not, but ball kicks down. It was. So now it's Batty. Around he goes. Very clever player. And that's why he's a very clever player. That is a great goal. It looks like a great goal, but when you know how to kick the ball and how to drop it, that's very well executed. What I loved there, Davidson kicked the ball to him from centre half back. That's when you've got length through your forwards, if you like, coming down the ground. That's very smart. Rather than two good players stand next to each other. That doesn't help anyone. And
a nice centre from Harrison Hawkins. Gave the handball inside to Davidson, as you mentioned. And he got the ball quickly into the forward line. And Sean, they seem to be flowing quite easily now, Port District. Just that bit of play there. They're allowed to get first to the ball and away they go. Yeah, from a structure point of view, challenging that Port Districts are still rolling with the spare, even though they're now going with the breeze. It doesn't seem to be reducing their ability to score. Weister it is, gets it out of the ruck. He's been good at that today. He kicks it forward looking for Foster. Keeps the ball in front of him, but it's stolen by Carter. Gives it to Gould. Can he control it? He can't. Scotty Nerlich, the old fella, bumbles over the ball. Gould still stays alive. Keep your feet. That's what it's all about. Does it well. Batty comes out. Just lost his feet at the crucial time, and Brighton are able to relieve it. Although we've got some good pressure again by Port Districts in the form of Zach Hawkins. He's got it to Appleton. Almost intercept marked by Benny Bookman from Brighton. They've still got it. Good turn of Nigel Osborne, goes out the far side and hits it towards Jack Chalmers. Just the amount of players with hands on hips at the moment already down back. I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, just wait to the final quarter. They'll be arguing about that water break they could have had post-match, I reckon, as the kick downfield. Districts have got it. They're looking very, very promising. Hawkins with the kick inside 50. That's the spare for Brighton, but it is the spare doing his job. Continue, we've got a quarter-time score thanks to Collingwood 041 on the chat between Spock and Prince Alfred. We'll tell you that when there's a break in play. Brighton are going to switch it to the grandstand side. Here's Harvey. Looked inward, looked down the line. Oh, he's indecisive. He's not so sure. He'll kick back inside 50
to the man spare. Whilst they're setting up what they're going to do, St. Peter's had the breeze. They kicked 4 straight. Princes into the breeze kicked 1-4. So
movement.
that is St. Peter's by 14 points. The Reds have the breeze in the second quarter, as that is a nice mark. Tony taken by Harrison Boyle by the interchange gates.
Well, the thing by Wellesby then was he forced that player to come towards the ball. Unable to take that right in front of us was... he's been given the free now. Tarkin Brown, probably the first grab I've seen him take today. He's a good, strong lead-up player. A little bit too static for mine, Brighton, and that last kick I was saying, they kick the space and make the player run to it. Here's another player that probably needs to lift a bit more is Jared Miller. They need length down the ground rather than all going up forward. Browns ran back in. Now it goes into centre forward. Hard one to grab. Player taken, hit on the head. Holds his head was Tate. Now they're out here. They're running. Look, there's 3, 4, 5 players across the middle here. That long kick, one-on-one. Batty will probably win the ground ball, but couldn't quite get up to that one. He's back on it, though. That is a great second effort. Palms it out. If they get a goal out of this, it's due to his work there.
Look at the numbers.
Yeah. Wellesby, just didn't quite keep his eye on the ball there. Thought something was going to come. Now he takes them on, gets out, but no one to go to, so it's on the ground. Taken there, just hesitated a bit, which gave the opportunity to the Port District player to grab him. They're in strife here. Now he's out, Harrison Boyle. Back out again, the wingman's been lively, was Harvey. Up in the air, McInerney, around they go. Composure required here. Good vision. Maybe a handball now, a kick I'd suggest. Corcoran tumbles forward into the forward line and a great grab down there. Wellesby, I've liked him in past games. He's having a great game down there.
Yeah,
Comes
well,
forward,
once again, it comes down to when you're going to be the spare in the back half, you're going to get a lot of touches, and there's the spare for Port Districts trying to intercept the ball, but not good enough on that occasion. That was Keith for Sharkey, who's taken a very good competitive mark just outside of centre half forward, looking for options. Been a bit stagnant, the Brighton forward line. Miller was one who presented, but he has elected to go right out the far side, looking for, might be Osborne, who now goes long, but Tommy Corcoran, the experienced campaigner, good enough to take that, kicks the ball out in favour of Zach Hawkins, the wingman. He's looking what they have been doing exceptionally well is working the ball well from their back half. This has gone to Greg, who's gone to Hawkins. Good transfer of play out the far side now. Gould, the wingman. They've been very good in their back 50, Port Districts. That's towards Matthew Appleton, looking to turn on the inside, looking for players inside the corridor. Brighton have got that covered pretty well if you look down the ground.
Look at Gould still running, two in the
he's
middle.
gone back to Corcoran, who started this. Now he goes to McInerney, who's got some space. Let's see if he can deliver. He's a good long kick. Needed to do better with that kick. Cooper Gaffney's asked a lot of him. He is a good player. Wheels on the left, but unfortunately, all that effort for nothing because Tom Wellesby, the spare, has been able to intercept that mark.
He could give it back to McInerney here. McInerney's just looking at him
They could
on
wax
his
off
own.
these two, couldn't they? Be best on ground all
Here
day.
it comes.
Spare to spare.
He'll take the
Free
free.
kick.
On the forward. Okay, let's see what McInerney does with this. Port Districts need a better kick into their forward line. I'd like to see Mitch Carter start to influence him, have some influence on the game, boys. I don't think we've called him at all forward. McInerney it is. Will he go long? He's got Hales that can stand under the ball down there. That's the direction he goes in. Hales will compete, we know that. Wellesby it is, again, who does the job for Brighton and takes the ball out of bounds, Phil.
Well, you can't say Wellesby's he's doing very well as the spare. Certainly seems to
He's in everything.
free of an opponent. He's certainly finding a fair bit of the footy.
I was just going to ask, do you think that he's been told to fly for everything because he's in everything, isn't he? Some they've kicked straight to him, but a lot of them, you get a licence to go for everything.
Great kick.
Way you go.
And that is spot on, Jacko. Jackson Riddle found a little bit of space all by himself by the boundary line, takes it at defensive 50. But this is where they're struggling. They get the first kick, then they're not quite sure what to do with it. And in this case, again, a turnover. Lockie Gregg, with the wind at his back, just kicks for touch. That landed just before the boundary. There's going to be a stoppage inside forward 50. We've gone almost 16 minutes. Port District have kicked 3 goals, 1. Brighton have kicked 1 goal, 1. 3 points the margin. You'd say at the moment, advantage Districts because they have another 10 to 12 minutes of this breeze. But of course, there's no guarantee you get to do it properly.
Some quick stats, Phil. Port 13 times inside 50 this quarter to Brighton's 3. Clearance pretty even, 3-2. Appleton's had 4 touches.
Kick comes out by the Bombers only as far as Beswick. Has it lost it? He's thumped to the ground. And umpire will come in. Haven't seen many holding the balls thus far today.
No, you're right.
Umpire seems to be giving benefit of the doubt to the players. Tap down, and again.
Cooper Gaffney's winged badly
He
there.
is indeed. That's the sort of stuff that does shoulders.
Yep.
But just watching in the middle of the ground, the 2 wingers from the far side are now over this side. There's no one in from the cricket pitch onwards there.
Again,
so
Brighton tap. I haven't checked the hit-out stats, but I reckon the Bombers have done pretty well with that today. But the clearance, Mitch Gaffney to the front and square of the goal square, the hot spot we like to call it. There's Batty, had the ball, lost the ball. It spills. This is Jack Foster with the snap, heads up in the playground. And that is barely snuck in for a behind, reduces the margin, Tony, to just 2 points.
So Tate,
Actually, 1 point.
Tate it is out to Wellesby. They worked that out well. It's this next kick. Well, that's a handball. So player standing still static. Look at that. The ball's just going to go up and down on the spot there. Round it comes now. Wheatra's trying to get in on the ground. Geez, I like that desperation, diving in. Port District are just doing the little things. I'll touch on that in a moment as it comes out. Tate is the architect back there. He gets cleaned up. So not a good kick out. Player now just bangs that ball forward. And he has kicked his second. And that is a great goal by the young lad. And really got onto that, and it tumbled forward and downwind it went. And Wellesby couldn't get near that one. That's that's a goal to them. That is, just a chaos kick. But I'll tell you what I'm liking from Port District there. We see Wiestra doing it. I like Luke McInerney. He's a really good mover. He looks relaxed, good mover as he runs on in front of us. And the other one that doesn't come up in the stats, but the little bits of work that James Batty's doing down there, the little tap-ons, the dive, the tap out to one side, smart, clever football IQ stuff, is keeping Port District well in front now on the scoreboard. Umpire Beetroot it is, comes in. Up she goes. I hope he has a drink at half time. So around Boyle, finally, he's been quiet this quarter. Hacked kick forward. Guess who's under it? Doesn't quite get to it. 2 on 1. Oh, player may have been held without the ball there, and is. So you can't appeal that one, Luke McInerney. You had hold of him. So player just goes back. Probably didn't set up enough. He's kicked that high in the air, and player taking the mark there was Shane Harvey. That was lucky because he took 2 steps and kicked that, Sean, very high, very quickly.
I think he's probably too far out to score. I would have thought into the breeze, but he's certainly going back with some confidence.
Anyway, he hacks it out wide on the ground.
Cooper Gaffney gets it for Port Districts. He handballs Dougie Gregg inside. He's been good with a quick release handball. Don't overplay the ball. It's Hawkins towards Appleton. Ball goes down the line. Now, that's probably not a bad result. Down the line, if you couldn't pick that up on the camera, there were 3 Brighton players versus 1 in James Batty. They're really asking a lot of James Batty, Port Districts, and we'll talk about this at half time, but I just don't think either side has actually compensated for or covered the spare on the windward side. Anyway, ball gets thrown in. Wiestra, ball goes over the top. Cooper Gaffney.
Just very quickly scores around the ground. Half time at Kellett Reserve, a win in your in game in Div 4, and Morphy Parks leads Smosh West Lakes by 16 points.
Well, that's a big game. Okay, the ball is thrown up. It's a change in ruck for Brighton. We now have Farquhar into the ruck against Wiestra, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Wiestra spent most of the time. Beautiful tackle by Dougie Gregg, and he lets Jacob Carger, much more experienced and probably got about 15 kilos on Dougie Gregg.
Looking for him. He's a long way off him, though.
Yeah. So it's the same 2 blokes in the ruck. Spills to Hawkins on the wing. He's got more time than he realises. Should have done better with the kick, and a ball ends up trailing out of bounds. Maybe they're conscious about the fact that they really don't and shouldn't be kicking the ball long at the moment, with Wellesby back in the back play about a kick and a half in front of the ball.
I think you're correct, Sean. It's a 2 on 1 back there.
Yep.
When you look at it.
Oh, Passaniti thought he'd get another goal, but it's Farquhar who has the ball for Brighton. He's looking for Miller. This is where they've been. Tarkin Brown presents now, but
Ooh.
well blocked off the ball.
Oh, my goodness.
An intercept mark taken by Gaffney into Lockie Gregg, left footer. Not a bad spot to kick it. Well out of Wellesby's, and the Batty it is that ends up with it. He's got that onto his boot, boys, in about a millimetre of a second. That is his second. He's copped a pretty severe knock as he's kicked it, but he's getting up the ground. I think he'll be okay. It's amazing how well you feel after kicking a goal. If he'd missed, he'd probably be still on the ground. He is coming to...
Oh, I don't know. He's
coming to the interchange bench, is he?
not real sure where he is. There.
Well, as
Andy Pink, lead him off.
No, he doesn't know where he is, unfortunately. Well, when you're a forward, you don't want to come off when you got the breeze, do you?
Well, this is going to change also. That doesn't look good, but this is going to change the structure of their forward line, Sean. That's the other thing.
Absolutely.
He's gone for the game, I'd suggest. Have a look at him. He's not well at all.
Well,
doesn't want to come off.
Yep, no, he's not with us. He's somewhere else at the moment, and I'd be hoping that we don't see him for the rest of the day.
And full marks to the Port District
Just
for
trying to
making
get
sure
there,
that
poor bloke.
you are coming off.
He does not want to come off. A female trainer, it's his younger sister's gone out and said, "Get off, Batty."
So, ball back in the middle.
It is indeed. Well, that changes the complexion of the game. The goal, short-term good for Port Districts, but they're down one, and it's a key one. Gould has it, hand pass across. Can Districts get another one as we're into the 23-minute mark? Long kick. Wellesby, the spare, couldn't take it. Does this set the opportunity up for Hales? Wellesby creates some interference. District still going forward. Jack Foster.
And they tell Wellesby all about it too.
His
Sean
second.
Davidson.
Has his first of the day. And Districts, this is a 6-goal quarter to them. And all of a sudden, they've opened up a 17-point lead with a few more minutes left with the breeze.
You know what happened there? No Batty.
Ducked his head.
Wellesby didn't know what to do. It came too easily to him. No one to take care of.
Well, look, he's been good, but there's a few times he's been a little bit suspect over his head.
He's not the only one out there either.
And certainly Nick Hales is letting him know all about it at the moment. Ball is back in the middle, Tony.
Yes, it is, and interesting here, umpire just having a look around. A few players with hands on hips and knees as we get late into the quarter. Up it goes. A great game, no? So Port District now, fresh air tap straight on that cricket pitch. Get off there, boys, I'll tell you that. He's been lively here, Harvey, at times. He's probably better outside than inside as he slammed to the ground 1 metre this side of that cricket pitch there. Player free at the back. Passanidi, I liked his game, and he's free at the back of this pack. Up it goes. Oh, tries to tap over the back of the head, Farquhar, and forward it goes. Bit of rugby there. Umpires now he's allowed to play it on, which is inconsistent with earlier. Player not able to take the mark was Jared Miller. So easily away they go. Port District, that is a fantastic kick. Gould needs to get into it a little bit more. Tried one-handed there. Now he's on top of that player. Port District have got the advantage here. Just clever little tap. Can't get it up. Bobbling around again. A little bit scrappy out that far side. A lot of players there, though. Now, let's see what happens without Batty up forward. So, 3 on to 2. Ball on the ground's dangerous for Brighton down here. Player held. He's got legs. That is a UFC Kimura, I would call that.
You've got to love the competitiveness of Nick Hales. That is absolutely fantastic. That's why he's been a regular state player.
A rear naked choke, I reckon that would be. Umpire throws it up. Players go up. Farquhar. Oh, player ran into a tackle there, and that's Nick Hales, as you said there. And has he given away the free there? He has. Too high.
He certainly made him earn it. Scotty Nerlich, though, he likes the tough stuff. That won't faze him. He's kicked it wide towards Wellesby, the spare. He's got it over towards Ben Tate, who heads in the direction of Jackson Riddle. Not able to take the ball. Port Districts turn it over again. Appleton it is, who's been the architect, looking for a short. Loved the fact that he lowered his eyes and kept the ball flat. Once again, Ben Gould got it on the left foot. This is a chance. That is a fantastic kick, and I think that's the 3rd goal for Port Districts from their wingman. So out of 7 goals, they've kicked 3 off the wings. They'd be extremely happy with that. And Brighton, in comparison to Port Districts, have had trouble taking the ball out of their back 50 with any real precision.
And I reckon what happened there, if you see the replay, Port District just swarmed. They swarmed on that first play. Then it went into the middle. Players fumbled it. They swarmed on that. 2 or 3, Bangould goal.
Change of tactics from Brighton, though. However, Tom Wellsby's been taken out of the back 50, and they've gone with Tarkin Brown now has gone back, and Wellsby has gone forward. So just swap the roles, just to shore it up for the last couple of minutes. And that's probably good coaching. Ball is alight in the centre of the ground. Carger trying to get it. Heads towards Osborne. Boyle. Good tackle by Port District. Beautiful throw by Appleton. Not picked up by the umpire. Gould for 2 in a row. Off the left foot. Wouldn't that have set the home crowd alight?
Ben?
Let's go Bandry side.
Just an update on Batty, boys. As you said, it looked like concussion. He was in the hands of the trainers for a little bit, running through a few tests, but he did get up and celebrate that goal, so he knows where he is. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him later today.
And he knows what a goal looks like. That's
exactly.
Good.
Ordering something from the barbecue. Broadbent's just come on as well down here.
Ben Tate's got the ball, kicks towards...
Davidson.
Davidson's been good, hasn't he, for his first game back for a month. Really like the impact he's had on the Port District side. We talked before the game about him and Cooper Gaffney and Matthew Appleton. All three of them have been significant contributors to this stage of the game.
He looks proppy though,
He looks
Davidson.
towards Hawk. Foster wasn't able to take that mark, and poor old Jack Foster just looks a little bit frustrated at the moment, but this is where he's got to step up. Without Batty, Foster's got to be the key forward on the front line to at least, if nothing else, make a contest and hold the ball in. And you know you're going to get that out of Nick Hales. You just need that from Foster as well. Ball thrown in. Farquhar, been good since he's gone in ruck as well, and that's a nice tackle. Brighton are able to spill the ball forward. Gaffney gets it, does it well. Handballs. Beswick. Handballs on the outside, and that is not a bad kick from Zach Hawkins. It's just short of the distance, and there's the man who's gone back now, Tarkin Brown. He relieves it for Brighton, switches the play beautifully over towards Jack Chalmers with a lovely kick. It's on the far wing. This is where they're going to have... Holy dooly! Is that Ben Gould again? He is having a purple patch out there.
Bounce it and bounce at the opposition. Just quickly, Ben, saw Davidson take himself off there after that last bit of play. How's he looking?
He's just having a drink. He looks pretty tired.
Hopefully
himself
that's
off
all
as
it is.
everyone would... yes, Phil?
28 and a half minutes gone. Districts, good quarter. Can they get one last goal? They've kicked 7th. It's inside forward 50. The first quarter, 2 goals kicked went 27 minutes. An 8-goal quarter could probably go about 30. You'd think.
7 goals this quarter.
Good support out on the far side of the ground, boys, for Port District. So I'm sure looks like might be the B's and the C boys on the cans.
Yep.
Past players, bit of everything out there, I reckon.
Well, they all had good wins, the C's and B's, at least by 10 goals. There's your half-time siren. Chance for everyone to get a well-deserved water break on a warmish day compared to what we've coped with over the past couple of months. And a great quarter by Port District. Is that what will set them up for the victory? They kicked 7 goals 3, Brighton 1 goal 1. Just to go through the goal scorers with you. 2 to Passaniti, 2 to James Batty, who is off, we believe, with concussion. Singles to Sean Davidson, Ben Gould and Jack Foster. For Brighton, 3 individual goal scorers, Jared Miller, Shane Harvey and Nigel Osborne. It is a 23-point margin at the main break. Thanks to Business Plaza, the halftime show is coming up. We'll get Ben to give us the latest news along the boundary, especially James Batty's injury. We'll get stats thanks to Dartfish. Jacko and Tony will analyse their best players, and we'll have scores around the Adelaide Footy League. This is a Sports Interactive and Filming Footy production. You're watching Matchday Live. One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Hey Jeff, where do you get your shoes?
Catch! Catch! Catch!
Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1
just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props. Yeah, and I was going to come to that. Do you have a structured leadership group, or is it just captain, vice captain, deputy vice captain? I guess what we're asking here, folks, we've heard a lot about Adelaide Uni. Give us a little bit of an insight to the workings on the inside of Adelaide Uni Footy Club.
Yeah, well, we've got a new coach taken over this year. Well, took over halfway through last year. He keeps things pretty simple, so he's got coach, assistant coach, and the captain. We don't really have a sort of structured leadership group after that. Just a group of guys who are good leaders outside of that.
Saturday morning pre-game breakfast. Take us through it.
I don't know. Probably if I go to cafe with the boys, if we're all playing in the same grade, I'll get a big breakfast, maybe a little latte. But if not, probably just some eggs on toast at home. Pretty simple. A few Powerades.
Probably work more towards the home meals the way things are going at the moment, but hopefully we can get up and going. Now this will be interesting. What style of captain do you think you'll be on game day? So there's autocratic, which is pretty much, come on you guys, jump on my back and I'll lead the way. And then there's the democratic where you'll assist others with the positioning and so on. So do you know sort of what style you'd be?
Probably a bit of both. Definitely not probably the most... the best talker before a game, but I like to lead by example on the field, and then a bit of directional voice out in the field.
Okay, and how many assistants does your coach have?
Well, he, as you know, he's got a bit of a family dynamic in the Moods coaching team, which is great. So hopefully, obviously, the other Moods are off at Sandfield this season, so I don't think we'll be seeing them too much. So it's just Josh at the moment.
Bit of a lone ranger.
Yeah.
Just an interesting one. Your position, what position do you play on game day?
Throughout centre, but mainly on the wing.
Okay. Okay. So you're a speedy one up and down the ground.
I try.
Yeah. Do you like going forward and kicking goals, or do you like to go forward, but you also need as the captain to be down back?
Yeah, I love getting a few goals. I'm not very good at it, but give it a good hot crack.
Get down, as we were talking there before. If you get within 40, 50 metres and the big white post come up, well, why not have a look?
So it's a bit far for me at the moment.
Yeah. Do you play on the Adelaide Uni grounds as well?
Yeah.
I can remember back in the 90s, we were so excited to get down. They had an electronic scoreboard.
Wow. I think it's probably the same board that they've got now.
Well, it used to be light bulbs, like at the old drive-in and that, but it's probably a bit better now. But what position do you play, Harry?
So I'm down back, which is good. I've been down back for a while and enjoy it down there.
Okay, he's a strapping size, let me tell you, for a backman. He's a good size. So I'm interested in this one. How does that affect your communication skills on field with the rest of the team? And I can imagine being a backman, you might just need to trot down the ground there and tell the forward something so you can sneak into the forward line every now and then.
Exactly right. Certainly a good excuse to get up the ground if I need to go speak to the full forward. But it's been the communication, as a defender, you've got to communicate as sort of, especially if you're on that last line. So always try and be loud on the field. And as you said, if that means going up the ground, then I'll have to go up the ground.
Good move. The most intriguing game day superstition from a teammate, but it's a little bit different than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Share this one with us. A little bit of a secret.
At Mount Lofty, we've got quite a decent hill. And so it's maybe not a superstition that anyone has, but swear to God, that first run up the hill when you're warming up for a game, we're all just like, oh my God, this hill, it's going to kill us. We've got to make sure we win the toss and we kick downhill first. So we're on the board with making sure we get down the hill first quarter.
So that is home ground advantage 101 right there.
Yeah, lots of secrets here.
Wow, thanks for sharing that one, Holly. Fantastic. What is your Saturday pre-game meal? Not the breakfast, but pre-game.
Something a bit funny. I used to have a big Subway before the game, but kind of gone away from that and just have the one meal, like a late breakfast, which is scrambled eggs with veggies, and then just try to smash the water and a Gatorade. So.
And that gives you the energy to get through?
Yeah, the lighter I am, the better. So.
Fantastic. And your playing group, is it a young group? Are you sort of, when I say mid-range, mid-20s, or is it a lot of young ones? So development is a big part of the coaching down there?
We have a really, really awesome under 16s and under 18s team.
Yes.
But the last couple of years, often the under 18s will get a run in the A's as well. Because, there's some absolute superstars coming through. So the A grade is, really diverse actually. Like, I think our eldest is up to 40 possibly, and then we've got a lot of the real young girls. So massive differences, but it's good.
Yes. Have you trained with the men's at all down there? I suppose you've been different days that you've played up until this year, so it's still forming, isn't it? Have you ever had a training run with the men's yet?
No, unfortunately we are on different days, but I think that's something we could look into doing. I think we had one session with them last year and it was good. Suddenly all the girls were running a lot faster, so maybe we might have to look into doing that a bit more. Yes,
and it looks like if you're all playing on the one day, then the presentations are going to be all at one time as well. And I keep saying, folks, this is going to be huge when the presentations are on. I'm sure there's some stories coming out there. Who would you most like to room with on the footy trip and why?
Probably have to go with a good mate of mine, Josh Slape, just because I know I'd get plenty of sleep if I was in his room.
I like it. Do you have a pre-game?
And welcome back, everyone. Half-time, thanks to Sports Interactive and Filming Footy, our major sponsors. Catch.com.au, screaming good deals. This is the Business Plaza halftime show, and there are some Dartfish stats. And Jack, have a look at that inside 50 dominance. Have a look at it. You can talk about it in a sec. 22-5 in the second quarter as Districts went on a rampage, a 7-goal second quarter.
Yeah, they did indeed. Phil, it was a terrific quarter of footy from Port Districts, and they've opened up a pretty significant margin. I think it's going to be difficult for Brighton, and I quite often say the third quarter is the premiership quarter. Well, if Port Districts are allowed to do what they did in the first quarter, which is to play the spare without any opposition and work the ball out of their back 50 like they did in their first quarter, it'll be game over at three-quarter time. So, interesting from a coaching and a tactical perspective. I wouldn't have done what Port Districts did in that quarter. I would have actually pushed someone forward to make Wells be accountable. But, hey, they were able to link up beautifully out of that back half and lower the eyes. They didn't always go towards Batty. They were able to lower the balls. Eyes, we saw some goals coming off the wingman with that long breeze. So, once again, tactically, this breeze is going to be important that the coaches get on top of it.
Well, may not have been the tactic you wanted, but cannot question the results as Brighton have taken the field. Ben's gone out and had a look around the ovals. We'll give you some scores around the other games shortly. Of course, at the game's end, we may have to find a Dartfish beach towel. Might be more appropriate than a Dartfish beanie, but we do have our player of the game. Any suspects as to who that might be? If I was to throw one out there for you, well, actually, no, it's a Brighton player, so maybe not. Tony, who do you have? Sorry.
Yeah, I was looking at Appleton and Luke McInerney. Interesting there. It says only 9 stats, but he probably had a few more than that. But geez, he's playing a great game. Batty was good up forward, just with his little clever stuff as well. Unfortunately, we may not see him in the second half. And the other one, Sean Davidson, I hope he's okay. He's gone off. Took himself off and not real sure whether he was injured or just fatigued. What we're going to see in the second half is really this third quarter. 4 goals up on the scoreboard can be easily made back up again by Brighton, and then do you hang on in the last? So we're going to see 2 quarters basically to the right of screen a fair bit, and it's who can capitalise on the scoring opportunities, which Port showed us there, 7-goal quarter.
Yeah, Matthew Appleton's had a fantastic first half, boys. He had 21 touches. Other stats there, McInerney 9, Jay Boyle 7 and Carger 9. So the 2 prime midfielders for Brighton probably down a little bit on what you would expect in terms of the ball. So did speak about the importance of those 3 boys coming into the Port District side today, and haven't they all had a significant impact? Cooper Gaffney, more so with his ability to handball and distribute the ball.
Yep.
He's been good, but Appleton and the skipper, Sean
Davidson.
Whilst he hasn't had a lot of the ball, what he's had has been really good, hasn't it?
I guess the other bit, very quickly to jump in, is the battle of the midfields. There hasn't been one dominant ruckman. Like if you look at McInerney, he doesn't take big pat marks around the ground and dominate. He doesn't run a lot around the ground and become a key position player there. He's just your ruckman as such. So
McInerney or...
No, Wakefield.
Wakefield, yeah. You said McInerney. But
Well, it's a big afternoon. There are your stats. We've got some scores coming in very shortly of the Div 1. You can see that Ross Trevor are getting they're a 45-point leaders over Athelston. Pretty close game at St. Peter's. That is an 11-point lead to St. Peter's as we speak. I have a Goody Saints Unley score that's come through. Goodwood Saints percentage booster leading by 41 points. And Payne, a much win for them. They lead Adelaide Uni by 25 points at halftime. Jacko, you've got... Actually, I'll go to Tony. Tony, you've got some Div 4 scores.
I have, Phil and Sean. Jeps Cross are up by 1 point on Mitcham. Morphy Park. This was, both teams have won 4, lost 4, 16 points up on Smosh Westlakes, but they've kicked 6-10, so they're dominating out there. And Walkerville are flying ahead. They're 29 points up on Pembroke Old Scholars.
In Div 6, Houghton lead Mawson Lakes by 25 points. A must-win game for the Elizabeth Eagles against Trinity Old Scholars. It's Trinity ahead by 25 points at half-time. In Division 5, Paraka need to win to stay alive. They lead Eastern Park by 38, and Salisbury lead Rosewater by 4. Jacko, Div 2 and 3.
Yeah, only one game in Division 2 today, boys. That's Broadview, and they're playing against Salisbury North, and they're doing that quite easily, 12 goals 4 to 3-3. In Division 3, Westminster... 9 points behind Modbury, so they're tracking along quite nicely. Golden Grove and North Haven. It's North Haven. That's the surprise result. They're up by 28 points at half-time against Golden Grove, who have yet to lose a game. And the last one, 22 points up, Gazer against Plinton.
Very quickly, some stop press scores. Smithfield lead Colonel Light Gardens by 4 points. If Smithfield hang on, they kick Paraka out of the 5. And Pembroke and Happy Valley for the Tony Neal Cup. It is Pembroke, Tony, by 23 points.
All right, it's the I couldn't give a stuff game there because this game is on. So away we go. Out it comes Port District, the hack forward. Now, I'm unable to take it was the Brighton player there. Wellesby, big tackle. I've liked his game. What's important for Wellesby is how he uses the ball. He's getting plenty of it, but how you use it. And just as I say that, he's put that out in front of a player, but 3-on-1. Once again, that swarm has come. Just easily walking it over the line there was Tom Carter. Ben, you've got something for us?
Yeah, just an update on Batty. Not out on the field at the moment, boys, but he did the warm-up and looked like he was running off trying to prove something to the bench. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back on today.
Did he know which way the bench was?
Ben, what about the Brighton ruckman? He started on the Pine again after the last 10-15 minutes on the Pine. Can you see how he's going, number 8?
I'll check that one out for you.
McInerney drops one down there as they come out now, Port Districts. This is what they were very good at in the first quarter against the Wind, but leading Brighton now. The difference here... So there's no swarm. There's one Brighton player and the other player's 10-15 metres off, and that player is absolutely flattened. Picking up a free kick there though. No, he doesn't quite know where he is. And the umpire says, "Oh, baller." There's no one around it though. No, he's going to throw it in. So that's why I'm confused. So taking a few too many hits. Wheater it is. Gets the left-hander down. Player, he's picked up. Could have been spear tackled. Very dangerous there. Adam Beaumont, and I'll just let you know our cult player for the day, the Beast, Hayden Kanaskas, number 48, is on somewhere. Wheater out of the pack, over towards the boundary line. Can they capitalise here, Brighton? Just poleaxe there in front of the crowd over the far side. And don't they love it over there, Sean?
They do indeed, and it looks like there's a bit of feeling in the first couple of minutes of this quarter. I think Brighton realised this game was starting to slip from their fingertips, and if they're going to play any part in winning this game, this first 10 minutes is going to be really important. No scores so far, and I think the Brighton ruckman might be gone for the day, but this is a good foray into their forward line. Tate from the half-back. Good finish. That's the one Brighton needed. We are 2 minutes into the quarter, so that's a good start.
Sorry, I know I harp on it every week, but it's a coaching thing. Watch this. No one behind the pack. So the ball just bobbled out. You've got to put your centre players... That's their cream in the middle. Don't get them running the boundary side of a pack. Get them behind the ruckman and let them do their work. Easy goal there.
So the structure has it. We're back to the centre square, and it looks like that Farquhar is going to have to step up and play ruck against Wheatra. One of the things I would be saying is that watch him, because he likes to take the ball out of the ruck into his hands. Yes, Phil.
Alrighty.
You're waving your hand at me again like you used to.
Who takes the ball
just
out?
getting the food, Jacko. But thank you for that. As we've got them in the middle. Wheatra tried to get it, lost it completely. Appleton's in there. He goes to ground. Still got the ball in his possession. No one. Usually in those games, you'd have players putting their hands up appealing, but nothing there, Tony.
In the long shots too, Brighton have got a little bit of a spread. Port District are pretty much in a line with the ball when they going with the wind, whereas Port District have got a couple of flanks and pockets out wide. Back in the middle there with you, Phil.
Alrighty, so nothing's changed. We've moved a little bit towards Brighton's goal. We've got Wellesby in the middle now. As he goes back to his... Oh, no, he's in the midfield.
It was a bit on.
So we'll have to work out who's the spare people if they're doing that again.
There's no spare.
No
That's
spare. It's everyone. It's man on man. And that's Cooper Gaffney with the ball. Oh, there's a kick. But, hey, that will go down as an effective stat, let me tell you, as the kick further downfield finds Sean Davidson. So Districts are at the attacking edge of the centre square on the coast side of the ground. To the forward 50, Cooper Gaffney again gets another hand pass. Gee, his stats are building nicely at the moment. Got that on to Miller Carter, who's found a player, I reckon, on 50. This is Zach Hawkins. As we try and look around some corners here on the extremities of our broadcast van.
Nice to see Miller Carter get into the game there, boys, with a nice left foot kick hit up.
Normal day in range. With this breeze, you think not. He aims way out to the right.
Oh.
Watch the breeze take that across almost into the tennis course. But there's a bit of black jumpers there if they can get their hands on it. Davidson being one. But no, it's all gold. And Tony the Bomb is clear with a huge kick that's going to lob and bounce into Brighton's half of the field.
And I reckon that was Tate. But we saw this in the first quarter where Port District very good in their back line. He had a player on in there. Dangerous kick though. McInerney. So this is what we called at the start of the game the other way though. Tempo football. Just hold it up, see what you can do. Not real sure with a 50-50 kick like that. Capitalise on the ground. Gaffney just pops it up. One handball, two handball, short little chip kick. They're going to miss Batty here, so another player has to mop up. Wasn't able to take that one. Jack Fawcett was low to the ground. Little bit of argy-bargy going on. Very nice kick. Davidson just standing still, so thank you very much. That was he took that almost as self-defence to stop the ball going through him.
And a nice handball again from Cooper Gaffney. I'd love to have his stats taken today. I reckon he's had about 15 handballs and one kick.
Player he's kicked it out there too. I was just saying the player was out there with his hands in the air, and I thought, what's he doing over there? He's put himself probably in a more difficult position because he's going to kick right into that wind. This is going to be a very difficult kick. You'd almost try a check side here because of the positioning, unless he's a left footer.
Do his confidence the world of good if he can get it though, Tony.
Just not sure why he led to that spot on the ground. So just coming in, steps in, left footer, so probably not bad for a left footer, but kicks a point. Got the distance, no worries. And Brighton will load up. So if we look down the ground, it's almost a V formation back to the centre circle. A lot of numbers here. If they can get a short kick and then a long, they're going long first. So ball up in the air. Player getting speaking to in front of us earlier for Brighton. Couldn't quite get to it. Now they've gone backwards to go forwards, if that makes sense. If they can load up from here, they're out. Here it is. Onto it runs Harvey. The next kick important. He's only got one to go to, Brookman. And a great smother. They are just desperate at it, Port District. That was fantastic play. A little bump afterwards. McInerney again, was it?
Yep, yeah, it was indeed, yes.
Fair income. What you said earlier, Sean, if the club's not looking at him, they should. Get down here and get on a dartfish and have a look at his highlights.
Good duel between Tarkin Brown and Tommy Corcoran. I think the honours at this stage are with Corcoran. Farquhar gets the tap. Little Passaniti throws himself at it. He's had a good third or fourth game of A-grade footy, just getting better each time he plays. I think it's possibly his third game. Cooper Gaffney's also there. He's been involved in everything. Umpire's going to throw the ball up, I should say. Farquhar, it is that gets it, but Gaffney, Jack Variety, gets it to Cooper Gaffney, who handballs to Zach Hawkins. Lays it off to Wiestra. Davidson back to Gaffney. Does run on well, Mitch Gaffney. Intercepted, the ball's in front of me and I'm trying to read it off the TV. Don't know why. Anyway, it's ended up with Appleton. That's nice down the line. Beautiful kick. Instead of just bombing it, he went to Foster. Now this time Foster punches the ball. Beautiful kick. And it ends up with Sean Davis, the captain. And that is as good a passage of play as you will see into a really strong breeze. Their movement of the ball today has been reminiscent of what we saw when we saw them play against Goodwood Saints boys. Their use of the ball by foot has been exceptional.
And for the first time today, one of the districts players able to get behind the Brighton defence. We saw that a lot in the game against Goodwood. Davison, having run all that way, is going to take himself off for a rest. Well-deserved one. Just the second goal out of 12 to be scored to the outer harbour end here at Largs Reserve today.
Big gap now for Bradley Beswick to fill if he goes up forward because, as we said, they've had to restructure. So if you look at the full forward down there, is that Passanidi? Foster, is it? Have a look at the difference in size down there. So they've really had to structure up differently and manufacture their goals.
Well, it's going to be that kick. They've got to lower their eyes, don't they? Look at that bit of play.
Well, zooming out of it was Jack Gaffney. It's been a real Gaffney third quarter. Hot footy, 40 metres out. If it spills free districts are on here, they could almost raffle it. Comes to Appleton. Appleton's kick, could it be 2 in a minute? No, it's a miss.
Geez, it would have been an important goal into the breeze field.
Could have almost been the game breaker for mine.
Bastian's the full back down there too. He's got height on the opponent Foster there, but he's limping around. So ball comes in, and Tarkin Brown just beaten to the ball.
Oh, what he did exceptionally well there, Tommy Corcoran, is he pushed him under the ball, and that's what his go is. He's a very good defender.
It's a great matchup too, as we see them run past us. So players come in. Couple of players from the far wing now are behind the ruckman. Wheatra didn't get hands to it. Brighton, good clearance now. Player on him there, just 1 metre off. That's the kick that's got a hit at this level. If you want to win finals, you could have just loaded up there. Unfortunately, just a little bit despondent with himself there, Harrison Boyle. All the midfield now trying to run down. Wellesby, who has been the spare, is down in this pack as well. There's a big pack here waiting for the throw-in. And no one, would you believe it, folks, no one behind the ruckman just as we speak. Although the far wingers have come in about 15 metres behind them, if that makes sense. But in it comes. It's going to drop short, real short. Karga it is, who's roving, actually did the punch. So umpire says, pass it to me, I'll throw it up here. A lot of players around the ball. Bit of space in the forward line if they want to lead into it here, Brighton, if they can get a clearance. Taken, and this is where Port District have been fantastic today, what I call the swarm, Sean.
Yeah, and good news for Brighton. Looks like Wakefield's back on. He's into the ruck here against Wiestra. He gets his hand on that ball, spills to the ground. Ball still alive. Karga gets it, ducks his head. Umpire Smart says no, play on. Harvey at the bottom of the pack, as is Appleton. Ball spills out courtesy of Port District's Timothy Zavrell. Haven't called his name much today. Beswick, the Mr. Fix-It man, he's kicked that beautifully in front of Passanidi. Can he take the ball? If you're a little bloke, you've got to be able to take that. He runs on well. Now he's balanced. Hits the drop punt. Finds Foster. That is a fantastic transition again. We have said that time and time again, but that was another perfect example from the back half all the way into the forward 50. Their use of the ball, Port Districts, has been absolutely exceptional at times today.
Clever football, wasn't it? Really clever football.
Yep. Jack Foster. Been down a little bit in confidence the last couple of weeks, but he's got his hands on the ball early in this quarter. This would do him the world of good. Going to be a tough kick into a strong breeze. Probably about 45 out. Be lucky to make the distance. It doesn't. Beswick's up there. Has to make a contest. Does. Ball spills. Back on it, Beswick does it well, swings around the corner, not able to get enough purchase on the ball. Cooper Gaffney, you know he'll throw himself at it, he does. Beswick back in, having another depth. Cooper Gaffney with handball number 999. Gets it, but it spills towards Brighton. Brighton are able to alleviate the pressure as they head towards Scotty Nerlick, and Nick Hale's one of my favourite players in the competition.
Going to be a throw-in right in front of your broadcast van. Of course, the Sports Interactive Filming Footy production this afternoon. 12 minutes gone. It was Brighton by 15 points with the breeze in the first quarter. A 7-goal to 1 second quarter had Districts ahead by 23. And right now I have them ahead by 25. And it's Brighton going forward, but only as far as Tommy Corcoran. He's got time to assess some options and finds up Lockie Gregg. Their movement now is nice, clean and crisp, and of course as soon as you say that there's a fumble, even before the words came out of my mouth, as it was
Passanidi
doing nicely. He goes in, fumble, but Districts have the numbers. They're going forward again. Well done by Foster to turn his opponent inside out, but there was a spare Brighton player and a high tackle. The Bombers will get the free kick and relieve just a little bit of the pressure they would now be feeling, trailing by 25 points, 13 gone to the third quarter, about 15 minutes left of this breeze.
Margin at half-time, Phil, was what?
23.
So they've actually increased the margin and we're 13 minutes in. So good start by Port Districts.
So Brighton come forward. Oh, just a nudge. I think the nudge first hit his arm and he grabbed it, but it was a nudge out. So Mitch Wakefield gives a handball outside. That's dangerous. Wasn't expecting it back. Now he has to work. Looks for a handball because I think there was a call from a Port District player. Big turnover. Now they're out. Player in front here. Wellesby's on him. He's had a good game, Wellesby. I've liked his game. He's run himself into trouble there. Has to be quick with the handball. Not quite up to it there. Big tackle though. Now they get it out. Finally, no. Port District player. This way, that way. Beswick. Over. Now they're out. Onto the cricket pitch. That is a hard area. Player stuck on the ground here with sore knee or cramp. Round they go, Karga. Great kick forward, and number 40, Ben Brookman it is, comes out, take the chest mark. Looks like an injured player about to come off, or, no, he's okay at the moment. Blake McDonald in that bit of play.
One of the few times we've seen a mark inside 50 for Brighton forward.
He was in front, and it was a hack kick forward.
Yep.
But that's what happens. You'll never make that metre up if you're in front. Clever play. So Brookman now. Doesn't look super confident. Has to aim a bit left to right with this kick for this to work. Runs out to the right. Goes left to right. And who am I to say that is centimetre perfect for the young lad. Well done, young Ben Brookman. And that's a much-needed goal, not only for them but for my tip as well, because I'm a fair way off at the minute.
Brookman's first goal for the season. Also didn't score a goal in 16 games in 2019. So a rare major.
Port
for number
District 6-3 inside 50s. Clearances in favour of Port District 7-5. Tackles 12-9, and Appleton is on fire with 5 touches.
And those stats, of course, thanks to Lockie and Dartfish.
Lockie Fish.
Nigel Osborne's just come on trying to get it. He's getting into the middle. Just looks a little bit fatigued, to be honest. Or it might just be a lackadaisical way of getting out there, but he'll probably turn around and get a great clearance there. So there's a free player behind the ruckman here for District. It's behind Brighton. Boyle is free. They can't get it to him. Gaffney has had a pile of the ball. Just a big high kick in. Good contest. That's what you like to see. Out the back now, McInerney just stretches that ball out like a yo-yo. Doesn't hit that. He'll get it back with a handball, maybe not. Over it comes. Just trying to bang it on the boot there. Trying to be nice was Nick Hales. And we have it down the ground. Crowd out the far side. There's about 35 umpires out the other side that are just giving it to the opposition as well. So, play with the ball on the far side. Is that Passanidi again? Is it? Hawkins it is, thank you. Looks inside, nothing going. Now there is a player if he wants him, Hales, but he goes high and long. That's just going to drop by the light tower. That's what you want to see from the ruckman Wakefield. He's got to do more of that. Give us a contest in the air. Head down, charging through the pack. That is great play by Port District, but gives it straight across to Chris Broadbent. Handball's outside. Tate it is. Haven't seen a lot of him today. Long down the line, up, over everyone. Now they're out. Corcoran's in front of him. Little hack forward. That's dangerous, Sean.
Beautiful work by McInerney, and it was Hales that charged through, as he always does. Nice defensive work. Port Districts again through Hales, long, looking for Carter. Ball spills towards the boundary line, and so you've got to love the back 50 work of the Port District's defence today. Yes, Benny.
Tone, you mentioned some tired Brighton boys before. You look at interchange stats thanks to Interchanger. Last quarter, Port District 17-12 up. This quarter already 7-4 up. Will that bet make a difference?
They're up in the interchanges.
They have had more, rotating heavily.
Righto. Okay, good coaching. Warm day. Maybe they thought they could rotate more, and that's why they got away with the drink at halfway through the quarter. Ball thrown into the air. No one can take clean possession of the ball. Appleton again is working his backside off in the middle. Watch Cooper Gaffney. Does it well. Will he get another handball? He doesn't this time. It ends up with Nigel Osborne. Kicks a nice drop punt. McInerney in the right spot as usual. Harvey looks like he might be able to run onto it. Can he keep it inside? Unfortunately not. McInerney's ability to be able to get across to any long ball that comes in has been absolutely exceptional. And no surprise because we've seen him do it time and time again.
And probably the interchange might be down a little bit because they're down one with Batty being off as well, Port District.
Well, they're up, not down. That's the thing. So have a
there
think
you
about
go.
that. Have a think about that and come back to us. Phil, your go.
So it is Riddle with the ball, kicks towards the playground.
And that's what it is, a riddle.
And spills out of bounds. So a chance to reset. 18 and a half gone. This quarter, Brighton have kicked 2 goals straight, so at least they've been straight with the breeze. And but importantly, Port District have kicked 1 goal too. So only a 4-point reduction in margin. Bombers need to get a wriggle on. Towards the back. Districts will get the clearance. Towards that outer side. Brighton have the numbers. Good interference there run by Cooper Gaffney. Almost won the football. But Chris Broadbent does. Now Bombers to go forward again. Inside 50 looking for Boyle. Spills out the back. It is Riddle on to Sharkey. His hand pass lacked a bit. Holdings on. Brighton free will get a shot on goal with the breeze at the back.
See, so I don't know about young Wakefield. I know he's only 3 years playing footy, ex-volleyballer, but I think instructions got to go to him. If you're not going to take those marks, then you've got to bang the ball really hard with a fist. But he's had a couple of goes at marks that you think he's going to swallow them, and he drops them. I'd rather see him punch the ball aggressively there.
Jay Boyle, who kicked 3 goals last game in the 1-point win over Adelaide Uni. One of their best players. This is a big kick to keep the Bombers in it. From the edge of 50, has just scraped it in for up behind. I think that's a real case of overcompensation. And it is the Bombers now reducing the margin back to 18 points.
So Brighton have got a good setup here. They're set into positions. However, I like Port District. They've been able to penetrate through this, a little bit of bargy on the full forward line. Just a big high kick. They're the ones that we want to see. Mark, he must have heard the call there, Sean.
Yeah, it was a better effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, now they hack it forward in front here of Port District's big pack forges there. Just with Brighton watching this, now this kick has to hit or a handball. They're just having a little bit of trouble getting into the forward line. Now they've got a forward that's taken the mark. And Jared Miller has kicked 1. Normally see him pop up with 2 or 3 in our broadcast games. He's telling the umpire, this is where I'm going to kick from, mate. Just line me up. And he's right in front of the Saint Meat, which is a very good sponsor down here at Port District.
Is he getting some advice from the crowd there, Tony?
Yes, how's the crowd? They're roaring, banging the fence, and he's put that up very high and wide. Not even handsome. Made it quite easy, and yeah, that's not the place to be having a shot from, is it?
Well, that's what you get local footy. You don't get at the AFL, don't you? A little bit of interaction with the crowd. That was fantastic to watch.
So boundary umpire just looking around, waiting for a bit of me time. Oh, there he goes. Nice. Well bowled, sir. Dropped a bit short, though. Anyway, out it comes. Have another go, mate.
What's
now,
the
maybe
twist?
maybe just pop in a little bit. But no, they do a great job, the boundary umpires and the umpires. So, but he's just got to.
He has got good hip rotation.
He has, hasn't he? Just Saturday Night Fever. That's a better throw. Puts it to the contest. Look at the numbers around this ball. There's going to be a lot of tired players, and that's hard physical footy. Division 1. Men's football, it's hard football, Sean.
It is, and I'm not sure if that is actually legal, that throw, because by the time he turns, you can actually see where he's throwing it. But anyway, that's a different story.
Who's going to be given the free if it's not legal?
Have a look at the numbers. Yeah, have a look at the numbers around the ball, boys. Port Districts are really trying to clog the game up now. 22 minutes gone in the quarter. They're up by 3 goals.
You ever wanted to call some mini-league?
Yeah, that's right. This is what it looks like. This looks like AFL footy at the minute. 100 around the ball. Dougie Gregg, it is the punches it, but only as far as Karga, who chaos balls it forward and doesn't get it. Sammy McKay's been terrific back there today. That actually wasn't him. This is him now. Watch this kick. He's as good a kick out of the back half as you will see. at any level of football. That's been marked by Passaniti.
He's
One
had a
way,
great
this
game.
way, that away. Not sure. Get rid of it. Daniel, he does. Straight to Brighton.
Set play.
Thank God. Thank God for Harrison Hawkins, who intercepts it and kicks it as far as Weester. Oh, look, a handball here to McInerney be a good play. Run onto it, Luke. Run onto it. He does. Shocking
no.
handball. Oh, Matty Weester. You can't put into him what God left out, they say. But intelligence, no. Ruckman,
He's not
intelligence,
happy
they're
either.
not in the same sentence. No, he's been
McInerney.
playing exceptionally well today, Matty Weester. Quick stats, Brighton have gone inside 50 the last 8 times.
Great tap.
Well, they might have a chance here because Zach Hawkins has got it. Kicks it forward. Umpire will be another throw in. Interesting if they ever introduced the last disposal rule.
He almost kicked that as he was being carried by the opposition player.
He was.
Watch the spin. Watch the spin.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, you can't say it's not effective.
No.
And he's pretty quick getting it underway, which is something
Clever.
we like compared with some others we've seen. So this was
He's a good runner.
Karga, who had that last shot on goal.
Sharky.
He's got 3
Harrison Ball.
behinds for the
Sharky.
day. Sharky has it with the kick down towards the club rooms. And Corcoran wanting a free. It's going to be another throw in. Seen plenty of these today.
You reckon that'd be his nickname, Fergal?
Fergal Sharky, I can
Only us
see.
old blokes would know that.
I don't reckon this generation would
No.
have a clue what you're talking about.
No.
I
There
get
it is.
it.
There it is.
It's a different world now, Tony, unfortunately.
Yep, here they go.
Foster.
Districts have it. They haven't gone inside 50 for quite some time, as Lockie, our statsman, pointed out. And Bastian, who had Batty early, does well to
Good
get the
tackle.
ball, get the hand pass out before tackled. Spills to Osborne. His kick high in hope.
That was fantastic footy.
And
I loved
Karga wants to go at Foster. Just a hard footy without
He's
much
hurt.
happening at the moment. Now Districts are going to go forward. Brighton are there in numbers. They're really just
Dropped it.
playing kick to kick at the moment. And Brighton are about to clear. Tony.
Poor old Sean Davidson, he's spent down there.
Yeah.
Nice kick inside. That's beautiful. Let's just watch them load up here. Player holding it up, Jackson Riddle. You probably could get it on quicker. Boy, now he comes to the ball. About the third time we've seen that today. Tarkin Brown. That's what we like to see with him. This is the kick, though. It's just going to be a bomb. Where's McInerney? I'd expect him down there. That is a good, strong grab, though.
No, that's
and that is
that's as good. That's
Jared
Miller,
Miller.
but that's as good a forward movement as we've seen out of the Brighton forward line. They were 3 blokes all leading, trying to get separation. There were plenty of options for him, and that was actually really good football by Brighton.
Here it is. It looks direct. This is a great grab, too.
Yep.
Nice grab. So just walks in now. He's only going to be about 30 out. Should kick it. Does kick it. Through 4. A sausage roll. And that is his second. That's what you expect from Jared Miller. Just down this other end of the ground was Sean Davidson really lunged hard to get a tackle in. He was a bit spent. Then he got wheelbarrowed. A player picked him up and threw him over in the pack here. Then he had to go again, and they're looking a little bit fatigued. So they've changed Jack Foster. He got knocked around down the middle here. So their full forward now is Timothy Zavry. We haven't called much.
Zavril. Tim
Zavril,
Yep.
is it? And Miller Carter, number 27. So they've gone a bit taller. And Davidson. They've actually only got the 3 down that end. Umpire throws it up in the middle now. Wheater wins the tap again. He's really getting on top in the middle. This is the one you want to win. Umpire calls high. Ball will go back to the Port District player now. You better hurry up and give it to him, mate. He's literally walked back and handed it to him.
Yep, Jack Gaffney it is.
Yep.
Gets it, kicks short to Appleton, possession number 400. And that's a good confidence booster for Mitch Carter. He wheels around onto
Miller.
his right. Miller Carter, sorry. And that is a nice kick to Timmy Zavril, who cut his teeth generally as a defender for Port Districts. He's been a stellar junior career, spent a little bit of time at Port Magpies. Been an unusual role for him, I would have thought, going forward, and he's certainly not going to kick it from there. He doesn't. He lays up. Watch the dummy here. Yes, one. Go around the next one, Luke. He keeps it low. There's a good punch into the breeze. And how good has Sean Davidson been? He just looks like a touch above, and he does that exceptionally well, and Miller Carter ends up with a goal, and he's the one who started that bit of play, but I give full credit there to Luke McInerney. Punch into the forward line was very good. He's challenging Appleton for the Dartfish Beanie Boys.
You know what he did then? He lurked.
He lurked.
Lurker.
Lurked. But
yes.
Once again, nice transition of play and good awareness by Timmy Zavril to realise he was out of his depth. Looked for the handball to McInerney. Yep, Sean Davidson making his way to the pine. His experience has been invaluable to Port Districts today, and if they can get him a little bit fitter, he's going to be a jet come finals time. We're back into the centre of the ground. Wiestra versus Farquhar. It is. Farquhar gets it, hits it well, only as far as Cooper Gaffney. Ball spills to Hales. You know you're going to get a contest there, and a good one versus the poor Brighton wingman in Shane Harvey. Phil, what do you got for us?
Well, I've got a three-quarter time score. Morphy Park Smosh, a win and you're in. Div 4. Morphy Park's a win for home, 7 points in front. Here at Largs Reserve, Brighton with a big thump forward. Harvey, can he do something with the ball? No, because our man, McInerney, we've got to give that man a beanie sometime. Surely. And there's a guy pulled down. He's going to get the free. He may not be able to take it.
Is that not Appleton?
Back, hip. Geez, he clutched at his leg or his hammy or something there when he hit the ground. She's on
Scotty. Scotty Nerlich. He won't back out of that contest, boys. I can assure you out of that.
Uppercut.
Umpire's got a bit to deal with right now.
Zoo and Horn.
Toughest firefighters in Adelaide, Scotty Nerlich.
Just warming up. Umpires sent him off. See you later, boys.
The book.
Gives him a pat on the back.
The Chief of the Fire Services here today, Michael Morgan. He will be remonstrating with Scotty Nerlich as he comes off.
That's giving him a yellow.
Well, he might get an early shift.
Dougie Gregg is marching him to the sidelines, or has he got a yellow?
They're having a go. They're having a go. Look out.
2 yellows, I think.
Yeah, Dougie. Oh, they both got yellow, did they?
Okay.
Well, they're just escorting each other off there. Wow.
There's a lot of riding on this game and on this result.
You have to talk me through the yellows. I think they're obviously off for the rest of the quarter. Well,
10 minutes.
10 minutes, so they're back maybe 5 or 6 minutes into the final quarter. Appleton has recovered, thankfully, because he did go down hard. It's one of the Gaffneys. On to Gould, who's been good today. Into some space. The siren will beat them all. It is lemon time at Largs. And Port Districts head for home with a 17-point lead. We've got Districts 9-7-61. The Bombers 6-8-44. We've got a break coming up very quickly. The goal scorers before we do that. Sean Davidson, Daniel Passaniti, James Batty, who of course has not returned for this game, with 2 each. Singles to Ben Gould, Jack Foster, and Miller Carter. For the Bombers, 2 to Jared Miller, singles to Nigel Osborne, Shane Harvey, Ben Tate and Ben Brookman. Ben Tippett has gone out to the huddles. He'll give us an update when he comes back. We'll take a break. Thanks to Sports Interactive and Filming Footy. This is Matchday Live.
Hey Jeff, where do you get your shoes?
Catch! Catch! Catch!
Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch!
Welcome back, folks. Well, it's getting hot in the kitchen in the OTR Division 1.
Just by coincidence, our yesterday's hero this week happens to be one of Port District's favourite sons, and I speak, of course, of Jamie Baldy Baldacera.
It's that time of the show for Tony's Tales, and he's brought some stuff.
I've got some what we call props.
Where'd you get that perfume?
Catch.com.au. Screaming good deals.
Catch! One of our great supporters here in the Adelaide Footy League this year is Business Plaza. They do great work helping clubs raise much needed funds. One of those is the Goody Saints. Let's hear from Craig Scott.
The Goody Saints are going to partner with Business Plaza because of their track record, and also they're a major sponsor of the Adelaide Footy League, and they've brought in big companies like Vodafone and Catch Group. We feel we can better engage with our members and our players through the app, and I encourage you to get on board and become a member of Business Plaza.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, it's three-quarter time at Largs. There are the stats, Game Day Live stats, thanks to Lockie and Dartfish. Jacko, fair to say a fairly even third quarter, but Brighton needed to dominate.
They did. They outscored Port Districts by 1 goal, but it wasn't enough with the breeze. And we look at the inside 50s in the first 2 quarters, convincing margins to the teams going with the breeze. That quarter, not so much. Brighton 9 to Port Districts 7. Turnovers 9 to 5. Tackles were very high that quarter, 18 to 14. Clearances in favour of Port Districts. Guys, I just wonder about the interchange bench for Brighton. Hayden Kanaskas, who's built like a man, mountain number 48. Haven't seen a lot of him. Just wondering, whether he's injured or there's just not been a role for him as the game's open. And the other one was the ruckman. Wakefield seems to have spent a fair bit of time on the pine. Started the game in the ruck, but looks like Farquhar is the preferred option. And that may simply be that body shape-wise he matches up better against Wiestra. But look, for Brighton to have any chance of winning this, they need to get one within the first 5 or 6 minutes. I reckon if Port District's going to hold them for 5 or 6 minutes with that breeze coming home, it's very difficult for Brighton to win this one, boys. And Port District's win, they have a very good chance of playing finals footy. So, game on.
Three-quarter time at Campbelltown. Ross Trevor lead Athelston by 63 points with a quarter to go. Ben Tippett, thanks to Interchanger, has been in the huddles. What's happening there, Ben?
Yeah, we can confirm that Buddy's done for the day over at Port Districts, boys. They're very happy with the way they played so far. The message was the win's not going to do it for you, and keep lowering your eyes. And over at Brighton, basically the message was just have some belief. They spent a lot of time geeing each other up. They're not that far behind. Their mantra over the last couple of years has been purpose and intent, so they need to really look after that this quarter.
The other bit was when the players got sent off, Foster came back on in the forward line, so it actually changed their structure again, but it may well have been an advantage. So you see him down in the far right there, he's standing a player, he's probably giving a foot in, that's 30 centimetres away to Bastian there, so they're lining up. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Port District, the wind has dropped a little bit, but probably not enough to help Brighton. Oh, nice tap out there. 2 players collide, but Port District go ahead. We saw them swarm earlier in the game. They may do it this quarter. Player not able to get to the ball there. Leading, though, was Miller Carter. They just seem a little bit more up and about and a little bit more structured. Port District player stretching Corcoran. He's got Cramp in front of us on a 25-degree day. So Cramp just after three-quarter time. He's now walking across to stand Nigel Osborne, who's gone out of it a little bit. Ball comes to ground. Gaffney again. One thing you won't see is the Port District players taking a step back, Sean.
No, and interestingly enough, we've gone back to both sides running with a spare behind the ball. I'm not sure that's the right tactic for Brighton against the breeze, but we'll soon see, because McInerney, the spare for Port Districts, charges that ball, ends up with Passanidi. He gives it to Tommy Corcoran. McInerney again. Someone's got to man up. If Brighton will win this game, someone has to man up on McInerney. It's as blatant as the sun has shined today. Gould and Harvey battle at the top of the square there. Port Districts keep it alive. Can they get it out to Gould? Can't quite. Brighton able to repel this ball. That is going to be very difficult to mark, however, and it was marked, but it was marked by Port Districts. Can't quite see who that player is. Looks like Beswick, maybe, or Zavril, I think, inboard. Hunts towards Lockie Gregg, who's been pretty solid today as well. Liked his game. In fact, I've liked all the Port Districts defenders today. They, as a unit, have played exceptional footy. Time is their friend, and he kicks to Luke McInerney, and this is what I'm talking about, the spare who just keeps getting hold of the ball. You've got to have to do something about this man, Brighton, if you want to win the game. You're 3 goals down. You cannot afford to let him continue to get the ball. He kicks long towards Hales. Brighton intercept the ball. Here we go, and he goes straight back to Luke McInerney, and he'll mark it. He does. I can't keep calling this, folks. Inboard, he kicks it beautifully.
Wow.
Cooper Gaffney, will he finally have a kick? He does. Loads it up, heading towards Foster, and that's a good
Nice
mark
kick.
under some severe heat.
He should do it more often.
And he's going to have a shot on goal. Jack Foster.
Miller
right
Carter,
on.
I reckon it is, mate.
Carter, is it?
Yeah,
Sorry, I beg your
Miller.
pardon. And, you know, both Carter and Foster have got better as the game gone on. Last 2 weeks ago, they're both down on what we'd seen them in the previous game against Goodwood Saints. But this game is going to give them a lot of confidence. This is a wingman's graveyard, this ground. That's how narrow it is. Anyway, here he is. Young Carter, son of Stephen Carter. Can he kick it from outside 50? Breeze at his back. Leans into it. Nice off the boot. Oh, Yobi. There's the nail for Port Districts. That pushes them out to 10 goals, 7 to Brighton, 6 goals, 8. It's going to be very difficult from here, Phil.
Indeed it is, and this will have ramifications. Can tell you at three-quarter time in the collegiate, what do you call it? They're playing for the Carafe?
Punce's Cup.
It is St. Peter's leading Prince's by 4 goals. Now, the
Prince's Cup, sorry.
The Redmen are coming home with the breeze, so St. Peter's are far from home. But if that lead holds and this lead holds, St. Peter's will be top tonight.
Is that right?
And they play only Mercedes next week.
Ooh. Wow.
So it could be a minor premiership heading to St.
Consolidated.
Peter's. Long way to go yet, but that's how it's shaping up as we speak. In the middle, Districts, they have a handy lead, but they want more.
Greedy.
Gaffney, I'll tell you, he's going to get the beanie. It's going to be an interesting toss-up for you guys to work it out
He's going to have
today.
a sore hand. That's what he's going to have.
Weistra.
Hales.
Back to Weistra. He goes with the long kick. He wants to join the party. And he's going to be in the Sunday Mail tomorrow with his first goal of the game and first for the season.
Look at him.
And
Flock to him.
Districts, mark it in your books. They're home. 5 wins for the season, right in the finals hunt.
I think he may well be in there for the best players as well. He's been a pretty solid game. Most of the game in the ruck hasn't had much spell.
We might need a pair of scissors today, gentlemen, to chop up that beanie and distribute it 5 ways.
Match day high lead of 29 points, Tony.
And I was a little bit concerned with a couple of players just looking like they had cramp. McInerney was stretching earlier in the game, but geez, I'll tell you what, they're fired up here. Just as where you're wearing shorts today, Sean, because it's getting hot in the kitchen. They are firing up. You're excited, we're excited, and Benny wants to have a chat.
Boys, Matt Appleton came off just before grabbing his hamstring. He's gone straight to the trainers and getting a bit of work done there, so he may be done for the day. Maybe wrap him up in cotton
Get him
wool.
back out there and hop. Come on.
Put him in ice. It's only a flesh
Gaffney
week.
around. They've won just about every clearance this quarter. Running Gould on the left foot, pops it high. Doesn't really give anyone a chance down there except the goal umpire who says, leave it to me, boys. That's out of bounds on the full, Shawnee.
That was the handball from Cooper Gaffney to Ben Gould there. And
Oh,
Cooper
there he
Gaffney
is.
runs in again, causes a spill. Beswick on the end of it, thanks to little Cooper Gaffney, but just not able to bend it back quite enough. That would have been
I
a
saw there.
absolute team lifter. But, gee, they're on top of the game at the moment, Port Districts. Karga it is who kicks the ball in. Not sure what he's doing all the way down there in the full-back line. He's found...
Getting a touch to footy.
Yes, okay. Well, they're down the line now, Brighton, searching for Tarquin Brown. Oh! A contender for mark of the day, except he didn't mark it.
Whip it good.
Free is being paid to Tommy Corcoran, and I've loved his game today as well. A good battle against Tarquin Brown. That's where he plays his best footy, and it's a luxury for them, Port Districts, to be able to play him in the back half, and so important if they can keep him there. He kicks the ball long, looking for Nick Hales, who's been good in the contest today. Foster it is that ends up with it. Left-footed, not quite able to get it to his boot. Good pressure from Brighton. There's game on here, though. Ball's bouncing this way, that away. No one able to get clean hand on it. Guess who gets it? You're right, Cooper Gaffney. Handball number 700. Hands it off to Nick Hales, and that is a great team goal. And once again, Cooper Gaffney making a seriously strong late charge for the Dartfish Beanie, boys.
Yes. He is indeed.
Oh, thank you.
No.
Thank you for your support.
No, totally agree. And I'm glad I don't have to decide between Cooper Gaffney and McInerney because they're both finishing very, very strongly.
He'll have no skin left on his hands the way he's going. Won't be able to put it on.
Both good Peninsula boys, both good, strong Peninsula families. It's going to be a tough battle, but...
Six
Here's some
goal,
stats, Shawnee. Read
six
them,
goal
mate.
margin now.
6 inside 50s.
And here's the thing, it's not just winning and losing. Percentage is critical. We're going to have some teams tied on premiership points
And their
this
clearances.
time next week.
They've been strong in here, Phil, with their clearances.
Farquhar's been all right in the ruck for Brighton,
Pardon?
though, isn't he? Farquhar's been out all right in the ruck for Brighton.
Farquhar.
How many inside 50s have Brighton had in this quarter?
None. 6-0 Port District's
Yeah,
way.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, Wheatra down on the bone. Players pushing each other out of the way. Just hacked forward. Will it be fortuitous? Cleans everyone up. Players still down in the centre circle.
What's that?
Now Wellesby, he has to use this. Just pops it up to centre half forward. A little bit of a hanging on. Unable to take the ball was Port District. Player now streaming through. Yeah, nice. He did lift the eyes there. Had a bit of a look. Can't take it. This is now Miller. Around. Taken. Onto him. Oh, player just, once again, I use that word, swarmed on. And that's what they've been really good at today, Port District. So I reckon that was Lachlan Gregg. They've got a couple of players like that who might not have had a lot of touches, but just that hard desperation. Really good team game from them today. Umpire throws up a lot of players around the ball. Wheatra just keeps giving. I thought he might have burned himself out this game, but there he is, gets a handball well to Wellesby. So Carger now couldn't take it, tried to bounce it. Just comes out fortuitously. Run in, son, takes one step. Lifts the eyes, and that is a nice consolation goal to Adam Beaumont, who we haven't called much of.
He went missing a few years ago.
Good little goal. Oh, good little goal there. And players now walking back. A lot of hands on hips. There's probably 8-10 players here with hands on hips. And very tired. Corcoran down there, down back. Heads down a little bit. Wheatra, though, I've been impressed with him. Matthew Wheatra coming back into the centre of the ground for the ruck. Sean.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, when they bring their Fraser Thorne back in next week. Where does Matty Wheatra go? He obviously can play second ruck, but he's also a good key defender. But as I mentioned, a lot of Tommy Corcoran's game. Wheatra wins this tap, goes towards Gaffney. Mitch variety. Ball spills out, courtesy of Matty Wheatra. Gets the kick forward. Foster putting the pressure on.
Well
That's
done.
a good tackle. He's locked him up well. That won't be holding the ball, but it was 2 weeks ago, boys. It is holding the ball. What a fed. I can't challenge umpires, because that is a fantastic decision, because that is consistent from what we've seen through the year, although it was tough.
And I reckon that's the first one we've seen today.
Yes, I think you might be right. Where is umpire Beetroot? How's he going out in the middle there, boys, with sunstroke? Foster, the left footer, on 45 degrees from 37.5 metres. I'll back him to kick this. Looks good over the ball. Oh, Jack, that's beautiful, son. The breeze just disappeared. If you look out, the breeze has gone. That is very unlucky. Scoreboard, though, ticks along nicely for Port Districts. They're out to 12 goals, 9. Brighton trailing 7 goals, 8. Not sure, is percentage a factor for Brighton today, Phil?
Yes, it is.
Right,
Because
that may be why they're running a spare.
Because at the moment their percentage has dropped from 55.8 to 53.9.
Oh, that's what you get.
They're in that middle range.
That's what you get with the fabulous Phil Herden, folks. You get accuracy.
Hopefully
statistical
you'll get a live
information.
ladder at Games End. Keep going, Jacko.
Righto, Brighton spills over the top. Run it out nicely. Lovely
Here he
kick
is.
from Tate.
Here he is.
Here's my man, the beast.
Maskanaskanauskas.
Not sure what happened there, but he keeps it alive to Harrison Boyle. The goal kicker gives it back to Harrison Boyle. He's going to go long, searching
Downfield.
for Miller.
Downfield.
He's been smashed after the ball by Lockie Gregg, you big brute of a man, you.
Miller's kicked it.
They
4
played
on
advantage.
4, and Miller didn't waste any time. Mum and Dad happy with that goal. The Millers over there in front of us. Real lack of emotion from Mr. and Mrs. Miller. They've conceded.
Oh.
Ball's going back to the middle of the ground. They're giving me nothing. Trying to interact with the crowd, and they just won't get involved. Anyway, ball's going to go back to the centre.
We're in solitary confinement here, mate. That's why.
It's like being in the, what's the Maxwell Smart, the cone over the top.
The cone of silence.
It's
It's
the cone
certainly
of
not
silence.
the cone of silence. It's the cone, but that's about it.
Chaos for sure.
Yes, righto, Phil. Take us away.
Alrighty, 11 minutes gone. We're into the joke section of the game because the result is all but over, but ramifications. The margin may play a factor as to where these two teams finish in season 2020. A season unlike any we have ever seen. Here's Beanie Candidate. in Macanini with a long kick down the clubhouse wing. Only to a 2-1 contest. I reckon he loses half a point for that poor disposal. Cooper Gaffney.
Oh!
Give the man a beanie! I don't get a vote. Give the man a beanie. Cooper Gaffney gets the free. Gets it to Passanetti. He's kicked a couple of goals. He wants to share the load. 2-1. And there is Jack Foster. And Foster, well, he's had a mixed day. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. Let's have a replay of this tackle.
That's a touchdown, look. He put the ball on the ground.
That's strength. Just had the arm, and it was enough to bring him down. Foster says, thank you so much. He's 2-3 for the day. Districts march on with their 13th goal. Thank you, yeah, same to you. And, yeah, I'll start looking at other scores and see what the ramifications of this are, Tony.
Great tackle.
Look at Doug Griggs in the middle there. He's geeing them up still, getting them going. The important thing here, folks, they're 5 goals or more up on the scoreboard, almost 6. When you want to play finals football, you've got to finish out these last 10 or 15 minutes. Plough yourself into the ground and walk off the ground absolutely spent. Don't walk off with a little bit of energy and say, oh, well, I'm going all right. We're up on the scoreboard. Push yourself into the ground and get your fitness up now in game time. So Weistra in the middle, done a mighty job because he's up against a taller player in Wakefield. Now Brighton, well, you wouldn't say stream forward. They hack it forward. Player leading to the ball has been okay there, Jared Miller with 3 goals. Now it comes around. McInerney again. Geez, he's done well.
Give him the beanie.
Handball out. Call from the crowd. Harrison Hawkins, our co-commentator's just turned into a supporter. He's been a coach. He's done it all. He's now supporting. Now Gould. 2 bounces. Gets it back. This is what we're used to seeing with him. Unselfishly chips it in. Play it on. It is. Might have been touched. Now around the corner. Party tricks are starting to happen. Little hack out of the air. And now player here having to go hard at it. That was very well done by Osborne, who's faded as the game's gone on.
Clearances all in front of Port District's boys, 7-2 against Brighton, and winning the hit-outs, and also obviously the inside 50s 8-2 in their favour.
So what we saw from Gould then is exactly what I was saying earlier. You need to run the game out, play hard football right till the end, get yourself finals prepared. A lot of players from Brighton are there calling for holding the ball. This is where we see a big pack. If you're looking on the camera, every player is on this half of the ground and probably in one half of the ground, which would almost be a quarter, wouldn't it? So what's going to happen? Umpire throws it up and out. Now, player trying to push off. That hasn't worked before, didn't you learn? And you're caught holding the ball. You're not Dusty Martin, mate. You might have the same number, but it's not going to happen. And Port District have done this very well. Mitch Gaffney.
Well, funnily enough, it was his younger brother, Cooper Gaffney, who made the exact same tackle that resulted in the goal about 90 seconds ago.
Look at the lurker.
So can he kick it? I reckon he should have a shot for goal. He doesn't seem that confident on the left foot, but he doesn't. He lays it up maybe, and that's not a bad layup. Foster keeps it alive. Ball spills to the front. Looks like Jay Boyle was heading to the Brighton centre, folks. Not sure what's going on here. Anyway, the ball's out of bounds in the forward pocket, and Port District's up by 5 goals and 1 behind. Going to be very difficult for Brighton. Ball thrown in. Weistra again underneath it. That's nice to the back. No one able to get on the top of it, but it is now in the hands of Brighton through their little wingman. What's his name?
Harvey.
Yes, correct. Now they're trying to transfer the ball.
Wellsby.
Wells beat. Well, the outside of the foot, but that's well intersected by. Have a kick a goal, son. Lockie Gregg had a blood rush, but it was a nice passage of play. Would have brought the house down. They're the favourites. Greg's around here.
Oh, no. Tarkin Brown, that was the best lead he's done all day, too. Kicked it out on the full. No, he did a nice one down in front of us.
Well, Weistra, he's going back as if to say, I'm right in front of my home crowd. I'm on 50.
He's getting a bit of advice.
Yes.
Give them out. Almost like he wants a drink.
Be a nice full stop for him on the end of his game he's had.
Yep. I think he's too close to the man on the mark, boys. Just a thought from where I'm sitting. Although he wheels around. What? I'm not sure what all that was about. Set play.
And an immaculate pass.
Jack Foster could well end up with 3, and he's had a few shots on goal today. He'd be starting to feel... Look at Luke McInerney lurking back here, as he has all day. Kick it to Lockie Gregson, you hungry dog. He says, no, I'm a left footer. I can't possibly miss from here, and he doesn't. And that is his third for the day. 3 goals, 3 to Jack Foster. Rounds out what's been a good return to form by him. I would have thought fabulous.
Yeah, well, look, he was 1 goal 3 about 10 minutes ago. Is even the ledger, which is what you want to do in the goal kicking, at the very least. And Port District, they could well get the ton today. 14.993 at current pace, 17 minutes gone.
And that would be his third goal.
His
And
third.
we're back to the game high, 37 points. And they're getting rowdy on the hill.
Oh, are they? Yeah. Jeez. Oh, Sean's walked around there. Come back, Sean.
We can hear them all the way from here, and the breeze is going the other way. So
That's the same joke.
I think they're giving it to the kids going past. Umpire throws it up, Phil.
well, one more time they'll go to it.
Jeez, they've got clearance
They
after
have
clearance.
Port Districts. They have. It's been their quarter.
Oh, bang!
This
run out of the way of that one.
This is where
Jeez.
players need to remember that they're probably playing finals
wow.
in a couple of weeks.
Yep. And Scotty Nerlich just come.
And there'll be big matches next week to play.
He's just come back on the ground, boys, from 10 minutes.
That
That was him
wasn't-
yellow carded.
That wasn't good.
No, that wasn't good at all. That's
Oh,
gonna
he's
end
up. He's up again, no?
That
Little
may
player
well end
got
up with a
hit.
red card, and that may cost him a finals appearance.
Oh, boys.
A second yellow is an automatic red, so he'd be very lucky to avoid a yellow. Let's have a look.
There's the red.
There's the red. That's. I think he will probably end up with
Greg's
2
still
weeks
going
for that.
back here. Jeez, that was a big hit.
Yep. Not sure whether we can get that on replay. Scotty Nerlich. You've got to work tonight too, Scotty, so that might do you for the day, son. Early shower and head into the station.
Here we go. No.
Just to let you know, I have a final score.
Won't worry, Scotty, I can assure you about that.
As the players sort themselves out, it's going to be a Brighton free downfield.
That was a
Port
huge
District
hit.
free downfield, sorry.
But luckily, Lachlan Gregg got back up. So just for the people at home, he did get back up. Took him a little bit, but. Phew.
So what's a relayed kick that's end up in the hands of Harrison Hawkins? In and out of the game a bit today. Some of his stuff's been good. That's not
He's
a bad
loaded
little
up
kick.
the kick. Little Daney once found the target. And the Port Districts could make Brighton play in the best way possible with something on the scoreboard. Is this Foster again? It is.
It is.
Whilst he lines up, let me tell you, a Div 4 prediction that Smosh Westlakes will win the premiership.
Umpire's telling him he's been reported.
Yeah, another one in the bag. Smosh won't play finals. Morphy Parks have beaten them by 12 points.
Wow, that's a disappointing result for Smosh people.
It is. Jack Foster comes in now, looking for 4 for the afternoon. And misses to the right. He's got 4 behinds.
3-4, is that right?
3-4 for the day. We're about to tick into time on. Districts are going to claim a very important victory this afternoon.
Now, this is where you need some cool heads in the Port District sides, boys. They don't need to be sucked in by what's happened there. They're up by 6 goals. They need to just focus, see the game out.
So Jared Miller gives the lead running on his heels, but Wellesby standing still takes it. It's this next kick that's been the worry for them. The beast comes towards the ball. Ruckman goes up. All come to the ground. Guess who? McInerney, beautiful vision to grass. Anyway, Brighton come out. 1 handball, 2 handball. This is a very dangerous kick. There you go. Out they come. Player on his own. Corcoran, 1 step. Go. Bang.
Wow.
And that is a...
That's the ton.
What is it? It's a point.
It's a miss.
It's a point. The crowd celebrated and the Brighton players said, well, hang on a minute. There's a lot of players down in this half of the ground.
They all want to
and
go.
you have to still go to your spot, set up, even though you're however many goals down on the scoreboard. What are they, 6 goals down?
That was a lateral movement by Hawkins then.
Oh. So this is a dangerous kick. Just a 50-50. Gives them a chance. That's a great grab in front. Tarkin Brown, he is a strong grab. Keep going, Brighton, because you're going to be playing finals, so you've got to still run out and play good football. Player just shuffled on now. Big pack forms here. 2 on to 1. Back they go. Corcoran at the back. Drops forward. Hales. Smother there. Geez, they converged on that poor bloke. That was Harrison Boyle. Now it comes out. 2 on 1. He's got to really work hard now, Jared Miller. He's not going to get there. Player goes to ground probably unnecessarily.
Dougie Gregg, yeah.
Miller's run on. This is what he does. He gets space and he's been ploughed into the ground. He ran past that, let Harvey get it. Didn't offer a shepherd, but he knew that Harvey was going to bring it on. So he's going to line up, be maybe 50 out from the time he kicks this. Just settles himself down. Very difficult kick. It's going to go left to right. So needs to penetrate through. McInerney's come up lurking again. He's probably going to call for a handball here the other way. I've actually seen that happen in a game.
Yep. You've seen everything, though.
There you go. So he runs. He's gone out to the right already. So he's heading out to the right, runs in.
Good kick.
Kicks it left, he hooks it. Hooks it left. Good hook, was it?
First miss of the day for Jared Miller, 3 goals, 1.
Yeah, well, he ran out to the right and hooked it back left. So they're going to kick in now. Is this the same guy?
Sam
Storm,
McKay.
Yeah, McKay. He's been a very good kicker of the ball. That time puts it to grass. Couldn't quite get it. It was Ben Gould. Dive and make me look good, we say. Oh, that's a 80-metre kick. 40 up, 40 down. Willing bodies in there. Ball on the ground. Oh, just mopping up Hales. Oh, he's given the... Don't argue there, Buick it was, Beswick. Now Hales on the left foot. Puts it to grass. That's going to work for them. There's 3 players out there. Raffle it. High kick to Zach Hawkins. Down the ground. Round it comes. Oh, just standing still like a training drill. Back now. 1 foot step. Bang. Gives it up to Brighton. Umpire says, that's mine just about. Round we come. Just sort of up and down at the moment, the football. It's not direct, that's for sure. Tired bodies now, and Passanidi, I've liked his game, gets beaten to the ball.
He does indeed, and have a breath. Good man. Ball locked inside the front 30. You might need a CPR after that effort. Port Districts hoping to get one more before the final siren, I would think. Weister it is doing the forward line. Gets his hand on the ball. Comes out courtesy of the wingman again from Brighton. Harvey, yes. Brighton still a chance here, but that's well done by Sam McKay. Handballs forward to Hawkins. Should have beelined that play, didn't. Needs to get a coaching lesson there for Simon Madden for Hawkins to keep his body in line when making the tackle. Tommy Corcoran, that's the way you keep your body in line. That's too high from McInerney, not paid by the umpire. Nick Hales does it beautifully. Ball ends up with Dougie Gregg, brother of Lockie, who got himself on a spot of bother a little bit earlier, but thankfully he's up and about.
A few smiles out there for the Port District boys, or are they grimaces? Just heat.
The boys look like, if you look over the ground, there's some really tired boys, but the fitness of the Port Districts thing might be something worth investigating for later on, because they certainly have covered the ground exceptionally well. McInerney puts himself in best position, unlucky not to hold it.
Oof.
The ruckman from Brighton, Wakefield, gets his hands to that ball, and this is boundary throw-in number 723. Kick. It is, sorry. Foster on the left foot is a chance, I reckon. Oh, he's more than a chance.
Point.
He's more than a chance.
Goal.
That is a goal. And
That's
is
a
a
great
contender for the Dartfish goal of the day, because it puts Port Districts on to 15-11. 4-4 from Foster, and he says, thank you very much, I'm back in form. And they says, James who?
What does he say?
James Batty is what James Batty says.
Well, they've manufactured it very well without Batty out there, haven't they? So they've shown that they can do it.
Yep. They're not a one-trick pony, and
no.
I would suggest he might struggle to play next week, Batty.
Well, he got cleaned up. He went Batty, didn't he?
Yeah, the good thing for Port Districts is this might shore up their chances, Phil, do you think?
We'll talk about that post-game, but they've been very good. They've been exceptional with the Breeze. Seven goals, 3 in the second quarter, 6 goals, 4 in the final. So 13 of their 15 goals have been with the Breeze, and they've done it well, and they'll get another chance here, just paddling the ball forward. Keep moving forward. Harrison Hawkins wants a shot. Was he felled afterwards? I heard a whistle.
I think they need to bring Lockie Gregg off the ground, Port Districts.
The umpire comes in and says, he did point in the free direction.
Antagonising a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah,
Lockie Gregg wants the free. I don't think it was his to get.
He wants to fight. That's what he does. I don't think he needs to be taken off and just give it a bit of a calm down, Lockie.
So what are we doing here? It's either
Port Districts free
kick.
It's his brother. See, that's why he was going. Oh no, it's Hawkins.
It was Hawkins who had the shot. Therefore was felled. Therefore should get the ball.
McInerney does it again.
He gives it to McInerney from the edge of 50. Unloads, but misses to the right. We almost would have had to change our beanie. That's a miss. Port Districts build their percentage by 1 point. 15-12, 102. It is Brighton 8.
Could we go the double
8-9,
beanie?
57.
Just watch what's going on with the kick in here, boys.
We already had to find another one thanks to the split round.
Well, it's 26 minutes gone, mate. I reckon we can start talking about the beanie now.
Oh, I'm a bit worried. Oh, look at that. Nice grab. You going to sleep there, Phil? You?
No, I'm passing it on. We usually pass over after a score, Tony.
Okay. I'm the one that's gone to sleep.
Not everyone talks for 5 minutes.
Anyway, no, mate, you're the only one. So on it comes Port District down forward. Oh, just players all around it. Will he go for number 5? Oh, and he's collided with the point post. Look at that kid down the back there. He's got the Devo hat on. Isn't that good to see? Whip it good. Anyway, Karga now has the ball. Kicks it out wide, and the crowd out there. Look at there's kids in the playground. There's people out there
social
supporting.
Everywhere.
There's everything going on. On the left foot now, down the wing it comes. Oh, I was going to say big pack before, but there wasn't anyone there. One step, not the best kick, just off the one step. Unable to take that.
Beswick.
And, Harvey unable to take it. Beswick just said, well, I'll do a spin here. Gaffney, all the Gaffneys have been good. All the Gaffneys have been great, actually. Up and down. Player in front, Wellesby. Nice little handball across on the left hand. There's no one to go to. They've been caught 3 times now, like that. And players now, McInerney's just saying, well, if I'm going to get a beanie, I've got to hang on to the ball a bit. Kicks out wide now, and Lachlan Gregg, kicks into the middle. Take him off for that shot. Just look at slow motion.
Yep. Yeah, no, the boys are tired. Davison, we haven't seen him for a while. No, it wasn't. It was Beswick. Davison's still on the pine, I suggest. Weestra's gone forward.
I think you're correct, Sean. Their fitness, the way Weestra came at that ball, and he's been in the ruck all day.
Yep.
Now, can you go up forward, mate? We won't take you off. And he sprinted at that ball.
Yep. Beswick getting an opportunity now in the ruck against Wakefield, like for like build-wise. May even have a couple of kilos on young Wakefield, the Vex volleyballer. Hales, the tough competitor, hits it towards Passanidi, who's about 2 kilos ringing wet. Beswick follows his work up and cops one around the neck, but the umpire says, listen, big fella, you ducked your head. I'm not sure how he could duck his head from that height, but Nick Hales gives him some encouragement. He's going to have another go at Beswick. Wakefield jumps right over the top of him. Hales is in there, throws the ball out towards Hawkins. They can't take it cleanly. Brighton able to take it out, but it's Lockie Gregg who intercepts it and ends up getting smashed to the ground. I think poor old Lockie might be a sore boy at the end of the day.
Thanks to Collingwood 0-4-1. We have a final from St. Peter's, and Spock are victorious by 25 points.
Wow.
And will be league leaders tonight.
Wow, that's a big result. Ends up with Zach Hawkins, who wheels on the left, punches it forward. Brighton are able to take the ball away courtesy of Jackson Riddle. Comes back down the same line, looking for Miller, not able to take it. It's coming through the corridor now. Karga flicks the ball over in the direction of Jackson Riddle. Ball ends up now in Port Districts, and that's not bad off the boot, heading towards Weestra. But Tarkin Brown does enough and pushes the ball out. And, well, if ever you were looking for a game to say, let's introduce the SNFL rule of last touch out, this would be a perfect example of that.
And look, this is going to be a great win to Port District. We'll discuss this in the post-game, but Brighton, their second loss of the season. Umpire throws that in. Weestra it is now. Just picks it up, hacks it out of the air, goes forward. Unable to take the grab down there was Jack Forster. But if this is a prelude to the finals, and it shows Brighton can be beaten and beaten comprehensively.
Port 21 inside 50s this quarter, boys. That's extremely
21.
high. Yeah, and McInerney 9 disposals and 11-5 up in the clearances.
Oh, he's heard about that beanie.
Yep.
So ball comes in now. Weestra over the back. Gaffney, a quick hack out of the air and taken on the goal line. Tarkin Brown, they've had to rob Peter to pay Paul, so he's playing down back.
Indeed he is, but Port are going to get one more shot. Being good, we're over 31 minutes in a great final quarter for the black and white, but the kick inside 50 finds Mitch Wakefield. The ruckman decides he's going to kick it into some space. This is usually trouble, but picks out Tom Wellesby, who really doesn't know what to do with the football. He doesn't have to do anything because the siren goes. And Port District, on the back of a 7-goal second quarter and a 6-goal final quarter, have overwhelmed the league leaders and made an absolute logjam of the standings. The final score, 15-13-103. 46-point winners over Brighton, 8-9-57. As Ben goes to find our player of the game, we'll give you the goal scorers for both sides. Jack Foster ended up with 4. 2 Miller Carter, James Batty, Daniel Passaniti and Sean Davidson. Singles to Ben Gould, Matthew Weistra, Nick Hales. For Brighton, 3 to Jared Miller in a solo effort. Singles to Nigel Osborne, Shane Harvey, Ben Tate, Ben Brookman and Adam Beaumont. How good were Port District, especially in that final quarter?
Oh, that's like a shot in the arm. What's wrong, Tony? You okay?
Yeah, go on.
I think it's like a shot in the arm for Port District's footy club. That is a massive win for them, and in fine style by whatever the margin was, nearly 50 points.
46.
Yeah, so what's that? Almost 8 goals in the end. That's a fantastic result, and they'd be feeling very good about themselves, Port Districts. Go on, Tone.
Well, their second and their last quarters were huge with the wind. Be interesting on a day when there's not as much wind, but they played a great game. They went forward and were constructive a lot of the time, whereas Brighton, a little bit of a tale of them was in the last quarter, a couple of fumbly bits, handballs missing targets and that under pressure. They were the top team on the ladder until today. So they've got a little bit of work to do on the training track. Do you think they can adjust? Do you think they can get that magic back, Sean? That's the big question, under pressure.
Well, a little bit about personnel. You got the skipper, Will Rivers, who will come back into the side, if not next week, certainly for the finals, and I think he stills them up a lot. So it'll be interesting to see Scotty Nerlich, who's been a good servant for Brighton for a long time, able to play at either end of the ground and in the ruck. Getting red carded today, that's going to weigh very heavily. Don't forget, Port Districts will have Gavin Shevard back for the finals as well. But our Dartfish beanie winner of the day goes to Luke McInerney, our little legend. How are you, Lukey? Good, mate.
Sorry, mate, we don't have the roaming mic. As I said, we got Luke McInerney, player of the game. Yeah. Mate, the win was a big factor today. Did you guys plan for it before the game?
Not really, We sort of just rocked up and it was pretty windy. Obviously lost the toss, didn't get the go of it. But, they played one back pretty early. We sort of freed me up a bit and we sort of just used that to our advantage, ran the ball and, ended up keeping them the 2 goals or something from our own fold as well. So.
And they bring a lot of physicality. You guys seem to match them with that or even better. Was that a focus?
Yeah. Look, they are in the midfield especially. They're pretty big-bodied compared to us. I think as a whole 22, we're pretty inside, quick ball movement, and I think we use that to our advantage as well. Just in just quick little gives and stuff, and run them off their feet towards the back half of that game. So, yeah.
Nice one. And home games are pretty well supported out here for you guys. Is that something you notice on the field?
Yeah, you do, but especially this year with COVID and stuff, not a lot of audiences have been allowed, and now that there is, really hear it from over that side, but at the same time this side, but it's good, especially when you get a win.
Are they the locals over there? Are they some of the B and C grade boys?
Yeah, B, C's. We've got some C7 boys as well, and then some other mates and stuff that come down and play, so it's good.
And his dad normally sits over the far side there too, somewhere, doesn't he, Logie?
My dad's got a camper van, he's usually here, he's called a Gypsy, but he's a big to harbour today, so
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And mate, your role, we've seen you a couple of times this year play that loose man in defence. You seem to do it well. Is it something you enjoy?
It's always good not having a man in a game of footy, but look, all the boys and the coaching staff back me in to play that role, and I was glad to come over, get a win, and it pays off.
As you said, you do it well. The boys were saying on the call that you do very well at SANFL level. Do you have ambitions to play higher?
Oh, mate, I don't know. I've been playing here for a while. I'm 25 now, so it's pretty beyond me, I feel, but look, I just enjoy playing with these blokes. I love each and every one of them, so yeah, it's good.
Nice one. And you almost got a sneaky one at the end there. The boys dubbed you the lurker a couple of times. Is that something you look to do?
Oh, mate, when we're going that way with this win, bloody oath, I love a handball, but obviously I got a piece of it, just didn't sit it out far enough left, so no good.
And last one, PAC next week, another top team. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, look, I feel like they're going to be a bit the same as Brighton. Got a few bigger bodies in the middle and stuff, but look, I think all of us have got the confidence going into next week off the back of this, so I think, Brighton first, PAC second, so full of confidence going into next week, mate, it'll be good.
Awesome, well, we're very well done in your game today. Player of the match gets a Dartfish beanie. Thanks for joining us, the boys are giving you a bit, so get back to them. Thanks, Luke.
Ripping fella is Luke McInerney. He's one of the real personalities in footy. He'd be a popular teammate I would think, and a joy to play alongside. And have a look at the boys getting around. If we can get some footage of that, that's fantastic. Everybody wants the dartfish beanie, there's no doubt about that. And there was a tough choice, Tony. It was a really difficult choice today, but he's been in great form every game we've called.
It was, yeah, you're correct. Every game we've seen him, he's performed every time. So, and it was a throw-up between him and someone else last time too. I'll tell you what was interesting, what he said there. I don't think anyone phases Port District. They've got belief. I thought at the start of the year they were going to be good, but didn't think maybe this good. But good on them. A lot of goods in there, but they've got a good spread of talent, and without Batty, we were concerned about how their forward line might structure up. Sean Davidson with 2. I'll tell you who was a surprise was Jack Foster, who played a Batty type role in that they're not tall 6'2" forwards, but he came in with 4 goals. What did he kick, Phil? 4 goals, 4 in the end, wasn't it? Yeah. So, what a remarkable thing for them to do. Yeah. So very good for them. Carter Miller popped
Carter.
in. Yeah, Miller Carter too. He's kicked 2. Matthew Weistra. Geez, I liked his game. He's not their normal ruckman. So they've played without their lead ruckman today, who is a very good ruckman.
Fraser Thorne unavailable today with an injury, but I don't believe he'll be too far away. Yeah.
Jeez.
No, Port District's very impressive. What I liked about Port Districts is the room for improvement. There's some of the young lads. Mitch Carter, I think he's only 19, 20. The Hawkins brothers, the Gaffney boys, the oldest one of them is 25. Luke McInerney, 25. They haven't got anyone who's towards the end other than maybe Nick Hales, who's it still would probably only be 26, 27. That's the side if they can keep them together. And one of the strengths of Port Districts has been that they do tend to hang on to their players. They lost their best player and their captain and their spiritual leader this year, up to Nuriutba I should know, the captain of the stateside for many years, Trent Heffernan. Probably as good a player as there's been in this league in the last 4 or 5 years. And everyone seemed to think that might, really cut away at their fabric. But it's almost like it's galvanised them. And I know Trent's had a rough year with injury up at Newry, and he would be watching on with great interest going, gee, I wish I was here.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question. Do you think he's having regrets? The other one is number 3, Daniel Passaniti.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how old he is, but if you're looking at the future of this team, the other going into finals, these players himself, Beswick, a few of these young blokes, there needs to be pressure on the whole team to say, well, geez, I want a game and I want to be playing finals for this club, and you have to perform. And Passaniti kept them in the game early on when the heat was on. He played quite well, I thought.
Yeah, he did. A couple of text messages. First of all, one from our illustrious leader, Johnny Douglas.
Yep, there's been no sound all day.
I bet there's a lot of people who wish that were the case, but no, Tony, your dulcet tones have been ringing over the airwaves.
Read them out.
But he says his message is the told you Tony McGuinness had Morpheville up and about with their big win over Smosh, which puts them in the finals.
Wow.
And a text message from David Watson letting me know that Flinders Park, 22 goals, 17, took care of CBC, 8 goals, 8.
Wow.
And finally a message from, I'm not sure who, saying, I'm watching and listening and you sound like Bruce McAvaney. So that's come from...
be careful.
Yes,
that's
come from
mate.
Bruce McAvaney himself. Good on you, Bruce. Thanks, mate.
Delicious. Just delicious.
That needs to be fact checked.
So where to now for Brighton? Is it? What are we going to do? Phil, the scores, or should we talk about?
Look, I've got a bit of work to do, gentlemen. You've got about another 5-6 minutes to talk as you wish while I get some scores, add up some ladders, put it all together on a plate for you to talk about shortly.
All right, I'll sum up Port Districts, then I've got to shoot and leave you blokes to round it up, the presentation from there. But I've got to go and save some lives. But just want to reiterate what we talked about. You'll have your go, Tony, in a minute, and you'll go on. So just give me a little chance, if you can. It just becomes
time enough for everyone.
Shut up, will you, for God's sake. Talked about the 3 inclusions today to Port Districts in comparison to what we saw a couple of weeks ago, and they were clearly responsible for getting them up and about. And Matthew Appleton, I hope he's not injured because you didn't see him at all in the last quarter. Ben gave us nothing on that, so hopefully...
Your turn now.
Hopefully Benny's okay, Matty Appleton, because he was certainly not a contender. He was in front by the length of the straight at half-time. 29 touches till three-quarter time. He would be sitting in the change rooms sulking about the fact that he hasn't got a beanie. And Luke McInerney, who stands no one, has got the prize.
Oh, that's harsh.
Well,
Very
let's
harsh.
don't beat around the bush.
Team game. Well, he may well be injured, but yeah, 29 possessions. You're correct. Up till three-quarter time. They are coming strongly. Port District, big game for them next week. Brighton Bombers. So that was the top team until today, and the way they played today, as I said, and I've seen it happen twice now against Goody Saints as well. A little bit of pressure put on them. For me, Karga was in and out, a little bit quiet. Osborne had a great first half, do you reckon, Nigel Osborne?
You started well, yep.
Yeah, and then we just didn't see him.
Karga. Jay Boyle, sorry.
Okay, yeah, Jay Boyle, number 9, who I'd picked. And Luke Bonfiglio, I was going to say during that third quarter, he just looked fatigued and tired, which he wasn't on his Pat Malone there. Ben Tate didn't have a big game where we've normally seen him. He's the architect out of the back line, so they can bounce back. I reckon Tarkin Brown tried hard all day, and you don't get a medal for that, but that's the second time we've seen he's had to go back. He's the swingman. So he's a lead up forward for them, and he's had to go back and try and block a hole and do something. And the ruckman, Mitch Wakefield, is a young up-and-comer. It did start to contest after you give him a bit of a bake, but he needs to probably break into a few packs. Farquhar did quite
job,
well.
actually.
Yeah, but Mitch Wakefield there is, I guess, still learning. But, geez, he's got a good leap on him. There's the upside. So Brighton Bombers, I guess, have to go back and have a look at maybe what they didn't do this week and maybe come out next week. Not maybe, but they need to. Tom Wellesby, I thought, had a very good game, although when you've got to look at how you distribute the ball as well and be strong under the ball when it's coming in. If you look at who won the beanie, Luke McInerney did that at the opposite end. When it's your turn to go, you have to stand there and take it. But he had a very good, strong game. Chalmers was good. Didn't mind him, number 17 out the back. They were under a lot of pressure, though. Jared Miller, at times, kicked three goals for them. I think once again, he was down back a couple of times too.
Yeah, I think one of the things you need to identify for your own well-being is what sort of footy side do you want to be. Do you want to be a slingshot side who starts their attack from the back half, which is what the Crows were in 2017, for example. And Port Districts are really good at that today. They were able to win their own ball at the clearances, but also slingshot beautifully out of the back half. And in comparison, Brighton were not able to generate the drive from their back half that Port District. So for me, if you're asking me the difference between the two sides today, I'd say the ability of the Port Districts boys, back six, to generate some nice passages of play from there that transitioned all the way through was clearly the difference between the two sides.
And I agree. The first key that I had down today for Brighton was their work rate. Decide to stick to their own game plan or stifle Port's, and they can't do both. Their own game plan wasn't working. They were missing targets. There were handballs that were missing targets and so on. And they couldn't stifle Port's game plan either. And Port did it very well, I thought, against the wind. I know Brighton got a couple of goals in the first quarter with the wind, but only 2 goals. And I reckon Port would have gone in at quarter time quite happy with that. We've held them at 2-5. But yeah, so you off, mate?
Yeah, we're going to have a look this week at Port Districts on the show between the posts, do a bit of a clinical look at them, and we've had a good look at them now for 2 games in a row. So we feel like, it's one side that we've seen play 3 times now, so one side that we think we've got a good understanding of how they play and how they look. Look forward to having an analytical look at their performances.
You may need to update your notes based on what we've seen today.
Yes, Phil.
Cooper Gaffney, didn't he get it? How many handballs to kick? His handball to kick ratio, it was almost like, I have to kick now at one
Correct.
point there.
You should have given him the beanie, you blokes.
You might have to take them off. There you go. Yeah.
Alrighty, Jacko, thank you for your work today. And your work, for your service, as they say. And Tony, g'day, mate. Well, I'm just about ready to give you some scores.
Yeah.
We'll just check if our producer's ready to put some scores on the screen. I'll give you Jacko's work there.
Thank you.
Actually, give that one to Ben. Ben
yeah, that's why I said Ben can
so
welcome in,
let's
Ben.
talk about OTR Division 1, and there are some big results here. Let's start with Ross Trevor, Old Collegians, defeating Athelston by 73 points. That's the percentage booster they needed.
16-22.
16-22, 118. The colleges, St. Peter's and Princes. Now, let me tell you, without giving too much, I'll give it away. That win, St. Peter's are top. That loss, Prince Alfred are 6th. Have dropped out of the 5. That's how big that result is. Because Goodwood played only Mercedes, and the Jets have dropped off big time in recent weeks. 117-point win to Goodwood. That elevates their percentage above Rocks, above Port District, above Prince Alfred. Said percentage is important. And the other key one down the bottom there, Payneham Norwood Union. Again, Adelaide Uni kept it close. Payneham Norwood Union won by 10 points. The ladder, as it stands now, St. Peter's and Brighton on 6 wins. St. Peter's the better percentage, and Brighton's percentage 53.2 is not that crash hot. Then you have 4 teams on 5 wins. Goody Saints are in 3rd spot with their 5th win in succession and the best percentage of the 4, followed by Port District in 4th. Rocks with their big win moves into the 5, and Princes have gone, I think, from 2nd to 6th.
Wow.
Based on one result. Let's hope the maths holds up there. So that round next week is going to be massive. Brighton hosts Ross Trevor. The loser of that may not play finals. Athelston plays Adelaide Uni in a game that only matters to those 2 sides. Only Mercedes hosts St. Peter's. The way Unley are going, St. Peter's win that. They're minor premiers. Prince Alfred hosts Port Districts, with Princes having to win to get back in the 5 and Port needing to win to stay there. And Payneham Norwood Union hosts Goodwood, with they're in the similar spot. Next week is going to be absolutely crazy in the ODR Division 1.
We need 5 trailers.
We do.
We do indeed. We're going to need a great score service. And thanks, I should add to Collingwood 041, who's been giving us scores through the afternoon on the chat. Thank you so much. Quickly, some stats on the game. Let's have a quick look at the totals. Inside 50s, 20 plus 25 to Districts.
Yeah.
Turnovers pretty even. Hit-outs plus 2 to Brighton. Tackles plus 3 to Brighton. Clearances plus 15 to Districts.
Last quarter 7-2. That was huge.
And that inside 50 count in the final quarter, 22-4. Thank you, Lockie. Thank you, Dartfish, for all that in. Let's go around some divisional scores. We'll start with you, Ben. You've got Jacko's normal roll with some Div 2 and 3 scores.
I do. A massive result. Broadview against Salisbury North. 107-point winners to Broadview there. Which is a very, very big win, 149 to 42. And then we go down to Div 3, Westminster against Modbury. Modbury 15-point winners there. Flinders Park 93-point winners over CBC. North Haven 37-point winners over Golden Grove, and Gazer 40-point winners over Plimpton.
Wow.
Well, 2 big results there. Plimpton's loss, they went through the year winless, but that North Haven win, Golden Grove's first defeat of the season.
Absolutely.
Right at the death knell. So Golden Grove are the minor premiers. The 5 is pretty much decided. Just got to work out for you who out of North Haven, Modbury, Wistown and Flinders Park have finished in the top 3 in terms of a qualifying final. Might get to that.
Sometimes you say it's good to drop one before finals, but if you're a team that's 7-0 playing against a team that's 5-2, you don't want to give anyone the wood over you.
And that was at home.
It was.
So what they get done by?
37.
Wow. Yeah, that's not good.
And Tony, Division 4.
Division 4, we saw Mitcham playing away to Jeps Cross, but they got up the winners there by 14 points. So the big one, as you alluded to, Morphy Park got over the top of Smosh Westlakes by 12 points. And Walkerville, wow, they've run out 99-point winners over Pulteney.
They need you back there.
Oh, no way. Not on that. I was speaking to a player this week, actually. So, interesting times out there. But, that's not a good way to play your second last game of the season.
Surely the only way is up, though.
Well, that's true.
We're still waiting for a Hope Valley Pembroke score, which may get critical in terms of minor premiership and and who finishes in the top 3 there. Div 5, got a couple of scores here. Colonel Light Gardens have defeated Smithfield by 7 points. Smithfield were in 5th position. So it all comes down to the final result of Paraka and Eastern Park that we are waiting for at the moment. If Paraka win, they're in. If Eastern Park get up, Smithfield stay in 5th. And Salisbury took care of Rosewater 88-39. That gives Salisbury, they're in the 5. If they stay there, depends if Kenilworth lost to Fitzroy or not. Div 6, we have some scores. Houghton Districts in their last game played Mawson Lakes and won at Houghton by 101 points. Blackfriars played Marion and only lost by 7 points, and I think that narrow loss will keep Marion in the 5. Elizabeth had to win to jump over Marion. I don't believe they did so. 75-65, that margin there, the victory to Trinity Old Scholars. Have not had a score from the big game there between Hectorville and St Paul's. That was a big match being played at Theberton today. So even with still some scores still pending, quite a dramatic day, especially in the OTR Division 1. Can't believe Princes are out of the 5 as we speak.
Wow, it's so topsy-turvy, isn't it, Ben? It's someone alluded to it the other day too, Phil. It's like a sprint this season. But geez, so up and down, and how quickly you can be out of the 5, you're gone.
Absolutely, and I asked Luke McInerney before what to expect from Princes next week, and he said he wasn't quite sure, and obviously that result shows that, they're not that consistent this year.
It could be quite deflated when they turn up for the game next week.
Absolutely. Does that mean we're going there?
Well, we, I think, are heading to Payneham for the Falcons and Goodwood Saints. Payneham have to win because they're a win behind. And we're going to need to keep our eye on 3 places next week. On Brighton for Brighton and Rocks, at Park 9 for Princes and Port District, and our game at Payneham, Norwood Union and Goodwood.
They only got up today, didn't they, Payneham over Adelaide Uni in a very close game.
Narrowly, just under a couple
you
of
don't
goals.
want to be just creeping into the finals. You want to be having some good wins. So, let's see what happens next week. Wow. And Goody Saints have, 6 or 7 now in a row?
5 in a row.
5 in a row,
After losing their first 3, and we said, that's it, can't play finals.
We saw them, yeah.
Port Districts, their game previous, lost here. We said they can't play finals. It's just, I think I've just about written off every team in the comp at some point this year. It's a week-by-week proposition, and we've got a fantastic final week to come.
And the conditions, I'd be interested to see whether it was as windy at some of the other grounds. So last week we had mud, and one team had to outsmart the other to win that one. Today we had a strong wind to one end, so one team had to outsmart the other. Good coaching. But some of those other games that you alluded to, in the city it might not have been as windy as it was out here. It's, wow-wee.
It's interesting, again, Luke McInerney said when I interviewed him about did they talk about the win before the game, and he said not really. So something that the players work on out there, so it's probably suggests that they've got some good, strong leaders and some smart footballers in their team at Port.
And I think sometimes when you win the toss and go with the wind, it makes sense if the wind might change. I don't think the wind was ever going to change this afternoon. But sometimes when it's blustery in particular, it takes a little bit of time to work out how to use it properly. And we saw that with a very low scoring first quarter, but once Districts got hold of the breeze, away they went. Alrighty, I reckon that's just about time to wrap it up. No more stop press scores coming in on the phone. Thanks to all those who have contributed around the grounds this afternoon. We've given you the OTR Div 1 ladder. Do have some big news, 2 pieces of big news.
Oh, hello.
The ultimate best oval bracket, which you go to the View from My Club Rooms Adelaide Footy League. The quarterfinal voting finishes 11 p.m. tonight. We finally have some tight contests with just a handful of votes. We will announce the winners and the semi-finalists on Wednesday between the posts. The other big news is 2 weeks today we're doing the double header.
Yes.
The women's semi-finals, it's semi-finals Saturday in the women's comp. They're probably being played all over the city as we speak at the moment, with a slightly later start time. Smosh West Lakes playing Payneham Norwood Union in the second semi. Winner of that will be in the grand final in 2 weeks. those grand finals are going to be played at Norwood Oval. Is the big news on Saturday the 12th of September through the day. And after we cover either the elimination or the qualifying final of the men's Div 1 in the afternoon, Dartfish, Sports Interactive, filming footy, we're going to Norwood to call the women's grand final, the National 1 Plumbing Women's Grand Final. We'll be in fine fettle by then. Payneham Norwood Union or Smosh West Lakes will get direct entry. One of those will get the prelim against the winner of Adelaide University and Old Ignatians, being played as we speak. I reckon that's just about it, gentlemen. Any final thoughts, Tony?
No, Division 1 football, the whole Adelaide Footy League's in good hands, but we've seen it today. Division 1 football, what a fantastic game. Another 7 days, folks, and it's on again, and it is a fantastic competition at the moment.
Absolutely, and on any day, anyone can beat anyone. I think all of us, 2 of us tipped Brighton, 2 of us tipped Port Districts, so we had a cracker of a game today and expect anything on a Saturday.
Alrighty, if you have just joined us, the final score, through the day, what a day for Port Districts. Their C grade won by 84 points. Their B grade won by 59 points. And in the big match, a must-win match, their A grade got up by 46 points. 15-13, 103 to 8-9-57. A few thank yous. Thank you to behind-the-scenes team, Sports Interactive and Filming Footy, John Douglas, Alejandro, Brody, Liam on the cameras, Lockie on the Dartfish stats, Ben, thank you on the boundary, Tony as always on the commentary, and Sean Jackson off to save the world. What a wrap today was. My name's Phil Herden from the entire Sports Interactive and Filming Footy team. Good night from Largs Reserve.